Hey everybody. I am kind of having a little bit of a technical difficulty, so if you guys could give me like 5 minutes. Well, okay, I guess you guys are just stuck with me because I cannot like. Oh, hey, hold on. I'll send the link right here. Yeah, my Discord just like took a complete crap on me. I don't know what its problem is. Hey,
What's up?
nothing. Discord like totally kicked me out for no reason. I
Oh,
was
I know.
causing
The server's
causing
down.
problems all day.
We all thought we were being hacked or something, but it turns out the server was down.
Of
What?
course, like right when I was like, I cannot like it's just, like I shut it down and like started it like a billion times.
Where's Zero at?
Well, I like it wouldn't let me open like his messages or anything like that, but he's in the chat, so hopefully he'll come in here because I just sent the link.
Oh, okay, good. Well, I just see that it says live, so oh boy, how many people are in the chat?
Oh, there's millions. There's so many.
Don't tell me that.
There's not. There's like 8, including me and you, probably. So
People. What's up, my people?
yeah, yeah. So of course.
Discord being stupid. I swear to God.
Thank you for coming in here and saving me,
Oh, you don't have to be weird.
though. I do have to be weird. It's like literally that's all I can do.
That is true. I don't know. You'll get used to it. That's all I can say. Because I mean, I used to have all kinds of problems too. I still don't want to do it by myself though.
I mean, as far as getting used to like just being a human being in the world, it hasn't happened yet. So I'm not hopeful that it's going to happen anytime soon.
Right now, we're just gonna work on the lives thing. I still haven't figured out anything about the whole being normal too.
Zero, I gave you the link. Come in here. Yes. Boom. There you
Hello.
go. Hi.
Boom.
Boom. What's up, my dog?
What's going on, Charles? Hello, Fabian.
Hi.
Wondering what's up with Discord. That's what. God.
Yeah, I don't know. I got screwed out of it, I guess. I don't know. It's not
Some
it's not up on my end.
those
I
It's
tried
not
uh
you. It's everybody, I think.
everybody.
okay. I thought ever
Damn.
since I joined Charles' server, it
Dude,
fried my
oh my
shit.
gosh. Maybe it was that because that's what happened to me too.
You know what? I let the women take over, and once that happened, all hell broke loose.
You
Oh,
should have
oh no.
known.
Don't do
I should.
that.
I swear to God.
We
The
just need to
second
get
I
back in the kitchen.
yeah, get back in the kitchen and let me take that. No, I'm just kidding. They're probably listening somewhere, so I want to live to see tomorrow.
Okay, so I kind of thought, I don't know if it'll work, but I thought we could like Tom Webster recently did a panel where he was surprised to learn that his whole panel was pro prosecution. And
Right.
they actually talked about like a lot of good stuff. So I kind of like had a few things that I thought we could like look at. Um, but that would require me actually knowing what I'm doing. So we'll see how it goes.
I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm gonna leave it all up to you.
Yeah, that's not good.
If you're expecting more than that, well, we're in shitty luck. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, you're going to be disappointed if you expect this to be perfect.
I wasn't even supposed to be here, to be honest.
You
Glad
wanted
you're
to be
Tom.
here.
I'm talk. It's no problem. Was my hobbies. So
Okay, we're almost there, guys.
for a second, I'll do that.
Oh, but this is
Attention retiree.
dang it, this is my YouTube premium, so we have to have ads. That's like not acceptable.
I broke down and got YouTube Premium. Probably
Dude,
last
it's so
month.
much better, right?
Yeah, I can't imagine ever going back.
Is it sharing like on the actual thing? I can't even see.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear when I play this?
Still,
Not that guy.
I cannot hear.
Well, it's not playing yet, so. Can you hear now?
No.
Do you hear that? Was it even sharing that? No. Good God, this is not good. I could do this for sure.
You
Okay.
got it, hand. All you got to do is hit the share screen and stuff, and then keep doing it until the audio itself comes in, right? Right?
I don't know.
2 girls. How do you get control of them? A gun.
I
I
can
see
hear now.
that time and time again. People can't grasp that. A gun will make adults comply.
Do you guys hear that?
Well, yeah.
Yes.
A gun will make adults comply.
Okay, okay.
Okay, 2 missing juveniles. Avenue Joyce Williams.
It's getting scared now. It's getting cold.
Liberty Rose Lynn German.
Missing, abducted, we don't know for sure.
Last seen at the High Bridge.
Damn it. Sorry, guys.
You had one job.
Adults comply. Of course, 2 young girls. I believe Richard Allen's words are what is going to convict him.
I agree. I don't know if you were sitting next to me in the courtroom at the time, Susan, but I think I leaned over to whoever was next to me and whispered, which is not allowed. I'm so sorry. But I was like, that's Bridge Guy. Because it was really the first time I saw his body movements, his positioning, his size, and his voice all at the same time. And in that interrogation video, immediately and I of course I seek logic over instinct or intuition, but I immediately, my gut was like, that's Bridge Guy.
Mm-hmm.
And to Susan's point, Steve, you correct me if I'm wrong, but direct evidence is something like a confession of something you know that is direct evidence. Circumstantial evidence. I realize that, but it is. DNA alone doesn't tell you anything. Like there's Elsie's hair at the scene. That doesn't.
Were you guys getting an echo?
That's all I know.
Okay.
I think there's an echo from you, Charles.
Hold on, I'll refresh.
Okay. Is the echo gone? Yeah, it is. Huh?
Which doesn't mean she committed the murder. There's a story behind that. So I agree. There's direct evidence, and now we're supposed to weigh them the exact same, direct evidence and circumstantial. And in this case, you have both. There is direct evidence and there is circumstantial evidence, and I think that builds a strong case for the state.
I also, my feeling is that Richard Allen is his own worst enemy, and he is actually, his words are going to be what convicts him in this case. I've always said that, and I've said this so many times on on my own lives, my own channels. But when Richard Allen is out there and he doesn't see Bridge Guy, to me, that's huge. Everybody else saw Bridge Guy that day and was able to describe him. And Richard Allen is there at the exact same time, in the exact same place, and didn't see Bridge Guy. Why is that? He didn't see Bridge Guy because he is Bridge Guy. And bottom line, that's the end of the case. Because if Richard Allen is proven to be Bridge Guy, that's felony murder.
Okay, so like that's basically, we'll go back to that, but yeah, what do you think about that?
I heard Paulie talk about that a lot.
Right.
And yeah, like I said, I'm not sure what to make of that, honestly, because it makes sense what was said. If Richard Allen is Bridge Guy, then he obviously isn't going to see another Bridge Guy.
Right. But
Yeah,
like
that's
also he had like 5-6 years to like I mean, he would literally just have to say, oh, I saw a guy wearing this outfit or whatever, I passed by him at this time, to make his story like make sense. You know what I mean?
My question still is the statement that Dan Doolin took, his notes, whatever it is that what did they alter that after the case to put Richard Allen's statement as saying that he came there at that time? Because in the interrogation, Richard Allen said he was there from 12 to 1:30 ish. And I don't know if he knew the timeline prior to divulging that information, or did he really say that in his original interview with Dan Doolin, and they changed that? Because everything I've ever heard, it says that they say that Richard Allen said that, and that's what they wrote down because that's what he said.
Right.
Did he say that's what I said then? Because later they asked him when he was there and he said whatever. Did Richard Allen tell Jerry Holman when he interrogated him, I did not tell Dan Doolin I was there from 1:30 to 3:30. I said I was there from noon to 1:30.
Well, the thing is, he actually like corrected his or he actually went to the timeline and like I think the next statement he gave was that he was there from like 1:30 to 3:30 is like which is like even closer to the time that like Bridge Guy was actually alleged to be there, you know?
Yeah, I heard that there was a word like words matter, and they said that they asked him if he was there between those hours.
In his original statement, yeah.
Yeah, not from 1:30 until 3:30. Were you there at any point basically between those hours? And I think that's when Richard Allen said yes. But once again, I don't know. I wasn't there. These are just things that I've heard. So I don't know what to make of it because of all of the differing, the pro prosecution side will say that he said he was there during that time or from this time till that time. And people that don't want to believe it will say that he only said he was there at some point during that time, not for the duration of 1:30 to 3:30.
Well, so I think he's like supposedly that he when he came in again the next time, he had said that he was there from like 1 to 3 and then from like 1:30 to 3:30. But like really, I don't see how you could expect somebody like who is like not the murderer to like know exactly what time they were there when, like, just for example, Kelsey like had a lot of different time zones or time frames that she was there originally, and like it's just it's hard to like get exact times unless you're using like camera footage or geolocation data, you know.
Yeah, that's another one too. There's so much digital information out there. I remember, I don't know if it was Tom Webster, it doesn't matter, but I've seen somebody was talking about the car, maybe it was Frosty. The car that he has a particular computer set up with this and that and the other that
Oh yeah, that
will,
was Webster. Uh-huh.
yeah, and he talks about how that would detail where he was. It would have information about trips and log, what, who knows, whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
there's like, I can't imagine Richard Allen not having Wi-Fi at his house. And if they had a warrant to his house, there's no reason that they couldn't get the Wi-Fi records. I'm not sure if that kind of thing would pull up or not, but I would just assume you would hear about these things to totally rule him. The defense would bring it up to rule him in or out of the whole fucking thing. And there's, like I said, you said geofencing. I don't know if his phone was on it or not, but I would assume if he had one recently, like after the trial, I heard that they said Richard Allen's phone was not like kind of like Elvis Field's phone, didn't move all day, had no
Mm-hmm.
activity. And I don't fucking like, where did that come from? Did that come out in the trial? Because I would have thought people would have made more of a big deal out of that. But I just kind of heard it in passing, like they just said it, like, oh yeah, his phone had no movement that day, blah blah blah, blah 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 blah
So
blah. It's like
so
that's
do
a
you
big fucking deal.
it's a huge deal. Do you think that the defense made like enough of a a big deal about that, or did they like um it seemed like they were like expected to be uh putting on a case for like a lot longer, and I understand that Judge Gold like kind of crippled them in the things that they were allowed to bring in, but
Yeah.
like I would think that they would press the issues a little bit harder to the jury to like get them to understand that like with the elevations and yeah it, oh, I think I have another video. Hold on, let's watch another video.
Okay.
Oh, before
That
that, actually, before that, we have to watch this one part because it's so crazy.
okay.
Sorry, I'm like not that organized, but we'll get there eventually, guys.
I've got all night, so
Giggity, giggity. Apparently the OG program is working again.
Oops. Okay.
Like chill guys, just use Pi. It's a free Chrome extension that's actually made by one
as Richard Allen Whitman, right? Or Whiteman?
Whiteman.
Mm-hmm.
There is an individual who lives in the area that is named Richard Allen Whiteman. Have you come across a situation where those names are so close?
Yes, there's certain criminal families out there. Has nothing to do with that, but yes, if you just ask me, are there certain enterprises and families out there that use the same names? Yes.
Like what? There's actually a Richard Allen Whiteman. Did you guys know that?
okay. Yeah, I clicked on it, and I think it was after Marv started talking, and I wasn't sure if she was asking the question or if she said that there is someone
She
in
said
the
there is 100% there is. Here, I'll go back and we'll watch it a little bit before then.
okay. Where though? In Delphi?
Yeah, in Delphi.
They name their sons,
No
their
way.
grandchildren.
In Carroll County. Yeah.
Why is everyone spiraling over YouTube banning ad blockers? Like, chill guys, just use Pi. It's a free Chrome extension that's
Confessions of those that give great weight. I agree that the mother confessing to your mother is probably one of the strongest. I saw where someone was commenting the other day that while they listened to that conversation, He was in total control, didn't appear to be under influence, didn't appear to be under duress. And that's something that interviews that in our world of law enforcement that we have to look at and what carries the greatest weight, in my opinion.
I have a question for Steve when you guys have a minute. Okay, Steve, have you ever come across a case where Richard Allen is such a common name, right? We know he's Richard M. Allen, and we know that when the lead was put in, it was put in as Richard Allen Whitman, right? Or Whiteman?
Whiteman.
There is an individual who lives in the area that is named Richard Allen Whiteman. Have you come across a situation where those names are so close?
Yes, there's certain criminal families out there. This has nothing to do with that, but yes, if you just ask me.
Like,
what is quote in the area? What is that? What is that? How do you define that? In the area.
I don't know, but I mean, it's probably nothing, but it just like I was like, what? That is a trip, you know? Because like one thing that they don't say about, they say that tip was like lost and stuff, but they also like I know that All Eyes on Delphi, like she's very good at organization and stuff, and she says that that tip has like a number to it in the Orion system, so it had to have been.
74.
Yeah, it's like an earlier number and it had to have been put in. And so I don't know. That's just weird to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard of this new Richard Allen Whiteman. I'm not sure if Marv was trying to say that there possibly literally a different person gave that tip. Because I don't think that's the case. I think
I
that
don't
Richard
either.
Allen,
I think
I don't.
I think it's just that she was like thought that that was like a curious coincidence. I don't know.
Yeah, I find that once again, this is these guys did this panel after the trial, and I can't imagine this stuff coming out after the trial. Like, how could we, as the community that hears all this shit, you know, all the locals that get on here, how do they not know that there's a Richard Allen Whiteman in nearby or wherever, whatever she said, in the area? What is the fucking area? Like I said, is it Delphi the area? Is Peru or like Logansport or Lafayette? Like, what's the area? 100-mile radius? 50-mile radius?
Okay, so let's see what else I have in here.
I just got your Discord link.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I was like, oh, I was freaking out. I didn't know what to do. I was like, I'm just gonna not even do. Come on. I'm just gonna let the 8 people down that are in the chat.
Mine said, oh, in the chat. Oh, okay. I'm not sure what the chat says. I have it on my computer here. It says there's 12 or 13 watching.
Oh, well, let's see if there's way more now. Yep.
Not only is there Richard Allen Whiteman that was arrested in Carroll County, there was also a whole nother Richard Matthew Allen that was also arrested in Carroll County for multiple charges, including domestic violence, driving under the influence, and some other things.
Hell yeah. I'm just kidding.
That phrase comes from.
Now, I've heard that. I think that there's another Richard Matthew Allen, DUI or something.
And you get arrested, you have now a record in the county. So that's what you're basically hearing.
And you said that's Carroll County, correct?
Yeah, County, where Delphi is located.
Right. What else is in Carroll County? How big is Carroll County?
And
I
another
don't think
city.
it's that big. It's like Flora, probably, I think, maybe.
It's Flora, Delphi, and I think, I'm not sure, I don't think it's Logansport, but I think there's at least one other city or whatever in that.
I could probably bring it up.
I mean, they probably weren't
Yeah.
both on the trail that day anyways.
That is true. I mean, the easiest part of that is to literally find someone's alibi and be able to prove it.
Speaking of
That is
having somebody's alibi, Charles, you're echoing. I think. Okay, so let's see. Is there still an echo? Nope, it's Charles. Charles, will you come out and come back in again? So the let's look at the timeline for just the timeline from like 2:13, I think, until 2:32.
Okay. Are you bringing this up on video?
Yeah, I will in 1 second. Nope, not that part. Dang it.
Yeah, once again, I don't take notes or have any kind of fucking anything other than what I can remember. So I might not,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not a professional at this, that's for sure. I'm just
I mean, there were no professionals in this, I don't think.
okay, touche.
I'm just kidding. It's frustrating though. I don't see why people are just like cool with like. It's not that I don't think that like. I kind of think they might have the right guy, but if they do have the right guy, it's not. It's literally just because of luck and not because of anything that they did.
You know what? I thought about that, and it's not just luck. There's so many. Like if you were to go by chances, like 1,000% chance, a fucking 1 in a million chance, whatever. They had so many things happen in this case that were like 1 in a million chance, and it just so happened to work out in their favor. Like the woman with going through the tips, the guy losing the fucking one tip, Doolin, and then the woman. I don't know. How, did she pull out his tip or something? Because I thought he didn't even write notes or
I honestly, I
keep
don't
them or
know.
whatever.
I don't know what she found because like when they were describing it, they said she found it in like a. I want to say it was like a banker box or something. Is what they said. And that it had said cleared on it. And Dan Doolin couldn't clear people. Like I don't think that was like his
And what are
clearing
the
that
odds?
suspect.
Right. What are the odds that you're going to go through a box, find how many other tips in that box said cleared? Was it a box that everyone in that box was cleared? Or was this the only cleared person in this box? And you just so happen to look at it and say, "Oh, wow, that looks suspicious," or "This is something that could be brought to attention." Was there any other tips in that box that were given that much
I don't know that whole story doesn't make sense to
relevance?
me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a not a 1 in a million, but that's not very likely that that's going to happen, and then it's going to lead to somebody.
Well,
One tip.
according to Polly, oh wait, Jenny, you didn't say anything wrong. I don't know why you're saying that, but I love you. Anyways, according to Polly, it was that lady who found it. It was like her husband had like passed away or something, and it was like his birthday or their anniversary or something along those lines. And that was like the day that she came upon it, and so he was like he led her to it, and I was like, that sounds like some like propaganda stuff, you know?
That
Because
sounds like it's not romantic, but it's when people romanticize things to elicit you to not even really think about it,
yeah, like
just
you
to
get your
definitely
feelings involved.
yeah, that's definitely a romanticizing kind of narrative or whatever it's called.
Yep,
And it's just and
totally.
another thing, you found the tip on your husband's birthday that, led to the crime. And it's like literally the way that the state's case has started out and played out, it's almost like a movie in the sense that everything goes in the protagonist's favor. Not everything, but I don't know. It's all too much. Maybe we've all been paying too much attention and over analyzing everything.
I
But
think that's a big part of it though too. Like because if you do like look at the timeline and just like assume that the person is Richard Allen that like passed the girls or whatever, you do have to like assume that because they never like actually link him to that. Then the timeline does kind of like, but it just would be like he literally would have had it. They would have got there, walked on the trail, ran into that guy, and he would immediately have taken him down the hill. Like not even barely tried to do anything with him before he ran across and like brutally like unalive them, you know?
yeah, it's just gets dumber and dumber as it goes on, you know. I hear the people and I don't want to sound like, oh, pro prosecution people, they're fucking like this, or pro defense or like that, but the people that say, for instance, oh, you can't trust eyewitnesses. They don't, it's really unreliable. And everyone says this. But then you're going to tell me, oh, no, but she saw the guy and this person saw. It's like they're pick and choose what they want to believe from an eyewitness statement. You can't fully trust the woman that saw the muddy, bloody guy, nor can you trust the girl that said she came up to the guy's shoulder. But you're going to take the, the witness that saw the muddy, bloody guy and say she's right. She knows what she saw. But then the
Well,
girl that says the guy was taller than me, and this girl's 5'6", 5'7", you're gonna be like, yeah, you can't expect people to remember these things, and it's like you
well,
don't
fix
remember
offs
everybody that you come across during the day.
you don't, but fix offs he on that panel he was talking about how eyewitness he was saying that eyewitness statements are like unreliable, but he also said that like when somebody's like menacing or like seen as like scary, that like witnesses describe them as taller. And so I was like, okay, whatever, Fig, so I like went and looked it up and he's like 100% correct, which I don't know why I like doubted him. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But like I just was like, that's an interesting thing, but it just goes to show like how much like your bias or like your internal like
Well, when that happened, wasn't the trail just a dirt trail at that point?
yeah.
There might have been a little bit of a slope or some, like, you walk on a dirt trail, after a while it's just gonna, get smaller, or not smaller, but deeper, because you're walking in a path, literally. I mean, that could been a thing, and he wasn't as tall. But yeah, if you see people taller that are menacing, I mean, it is what it is, I guess. But it's not so much that, but just the fact that you want to discredit a witness's statement in regards to something that would go against your narrative, but yet prop up a witness statement that does go with your narrative. And I've seen a
Exactly.
lot of that. I've seen a lot of that from the prosecution. I've seen a lot of that from the defense. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and
it's like,
then okay, so let's watch this clip on Brad Weber, and then we'll get back to that.
okay.
I believe timelines are so important. And timelines in modern criminal courtrooms are established pretty clearly, a lot of times by cell phone data, surveillance video, and other digital footprints that are out there. So these days we're getting timelines that are much more specific and definitive in cases. I want you to take a look at what we put together here. In terms of a timeline. 1:49 p.m., Abby and Libby are dropped off across from Mears Farm, which is located on the north side of County Road 300 North near the entrance of the trails where they were going to go. At 2:13 p.m., video from Libby's cell phone shows that the girls encountered a man on the southeast portion of the Monon High Bridge. So this is where the encounter begins, 2:13. The video shows the girls walking southeast on the bridge, and this man orders the girls down the hill. 2:32, the last steps on the Apple Watch, Apple Health information from Libby are recorded. And then the girls' bodies are discovered the next day. But this time period, this 2:13 to 2:32, when the last steps are recorded on Apple Health from when they encounter the man, to me this is the most significant portion of the entire timeline. So that brings me to my next question.
Starting a WordPress site can be hard, so we removed the hard part by giving you a head start.
In this investigation, which is what happened between 2:13 and 2:32 on February 13th, 2017. What happened? What do we know? And what does the evidence lead us to think based upon everything that we've learned in this case? What happened between 2:13 and 2:32?
So like I love how he breaks this down, because like this is one thing that like really frustrated me with the Google step data guy that testified in the 3-day hearing.
Hold on, was it Google Steps or Apple Steps?
Apple Steps, sorry.
Okay.
Thank you for correcting me. But like he said that he didn't even go down to the area to even try to like count if the steps would work out with the topography and stuff of the area, which is like, that's just like a ongoing list of like the slop, like them not taking it to the, like them not doing like a good job, you know?
Yeah, doesn't surprise me.
Okay,
At all.
we're gonna watch and they're gonna break it down further.
With us to help figure this all out, Court TV senior producer Barbara McDonald, who's there in Indiana and inside that courtroom, and the YouTube live streamer behind Gray Hughes Investigates. Gray Hughes, who's been covering your story from the beginning, and people have been watching your streams and your podcasts and your investigation of this. So with this question, Barbara, you've been there, you've walked the grounds. 2:13, southeast portion of the Monon High Bridge, to those last steps at 2:32. You've walked the grounds. How long does it take to get from point A to point B? How much time is there for things to happen?
Well, when I walked it, I wasn't able to walk all the way across the bridge and do it that way. I was too fearful to walk across the bridge. But at one point, Brad Weber did give me permission to go onto his property. So I was able to walk from the south end of the bridge down the hill to the creek, across the creek onto Ron Logan's property. And for me, that was about a 10 to 12 minute walk. From Libby's phone data, we do know that between 2:18 and 2:25, no steps were recorded. So there's about a 7-minute period, 0 steps recorded. 2:25 to 2:32, 60 steps are recorded. Now that could fit with what Richard Allen said happened out there, that he had taken them down towards the creek, intending to sexually assault them, eventually got spooked by a van and crossed the creek and killed them over on the other side on Ron Logan's property. The last time that the steps, as you mentioned, were recorded on Libby's phone was 2:32, but the last movement recorded on her phone was at 2:39.
Okay, Gray Hughes.
So, like, I don't know why Barbara McDonald has such a bad name. Like, I guess because she tried to write a book on Ron Logan, but she's been on this case for like a long time. She had like a lot of access to the locals, and I mean, she broke it down pretty good right there. So then we're gonna listen to how Gray Hughes describes it, and we'll see he like does his own job of doing that.
Starting to put together all these pieces. What is What is this? What story is the evidence telling you?
Well, you have Brad Weber. I guess you could start back at let's just start right where the video of the bridge guy was taken. That was it started at 2:13 and 51 seconds. So it's almost 2:14. We keep hearing 2:13, but it's closer to 2:14. So it's 2:13 and 51 seconds. And it's over at 2:14 and 34 seconds. And that's when the video shuts off and they're starting to go down the hill. So that would place them probably on the private drive by, let's just say 2:16 or something like that, because it's just that first little hill down there. And then I would say probably, let's just do another minute or two. So they're 2:18, they're at the low level on the flat below the bridge. And then I personally always had this theory that there's sort of this corner there where you have the private drive and the creek almost kind of merged there. And I always thought that was a place where he intended to assault them. And then the girls tried to escape and they chased him. But now it turns out that, he took him down the hill there and he was going to assault them. This is what he said in his confession, that, he racked his gun, he took the girls down the hill, and then he was going to assault them down there. But then he got interrupted by a van. And it turns out that Brad Weber, who got off work at 2:02, and he said it takes maybe 20, 25 minutes to drive home. So let's, a couple of minutes to get to the car. So 2:04, add 20 minutes. So you got 2:24 to like 2:29.
I love how you just like estimates to make everything fit. But don't you think that they should have like phone data on like basically all these people, that they wouldn't have to like make all these guesstimations?
Yeah, you can't tell me that Richard Allen left his phone at home that day and there's no activity. And Brad Weber, the same thing. When did Brad Weber fucking come home? There should be. It's like you want answers to this stuff, but then you're just gonna get shut down with. They got the guy. You don't need to know all this information. Who are you to know this stuff? And it's like, but if they're gonna, put somebody away for life, you'd think that they would have more data, because we live in a digital age, and I don't care if you tell me it's 2017 or 2015 or 20 or 20, whatever. I know that they had that data, ability to gain that data. Whose phone? Libby's phone was there. They know that. They have the geofence, and there's other phones in the area at the time. Now, I asked Charles the other day if he knew who it was, or if he had a guess, like who he thought it was, hypothesis. But wouldn't you think if they went down the hill at that time and that Brad Weber's fucking phone would be on that list of phones in the area?
I mean, some people were.
Right. You'd think that not show me to prove it to me. Because once again, I got an echo now.
Okay, try again.
Okay, that's better. Yeah, I don't know like I said, I don't know what to think. They got the guy. Okay, I'm not denying they got the guy. They got a guy. They got the guy, whatever. But there's still information out there that would lay to rest people like you, people like me, anyone that has any doubt in this. And you're met with, well, you don't, deserve to know that kind of information. They don't have to give everything out to the public. It's like, but I'm not a taxpayer in Indiana. But if this happened in my state, I would demand to know what evidence you have and what evidence you don't have. I should have a right to that information, whether it was used in trial or not. Granted, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know the rules, but I would assume if you're a cop, if you're a law enforcement agency in my state and you're using my tax dollars, I should be able to follow up on your work.
Not just that, but I feel like they did press like circuits, like the cops and the families did press circuits, and they made us care, and then like to just like deny that we also like want to know what happened is like, I don't know. Like, I feel like we do have a right. Like, don't make me care and then just leave me hanging like that. Like, I freaking care. Like, like I've all of us have spent way too much time like looking into this stuff to just be like given like these half complete answers that like it's not just like one thing that they don't have like the data to go behind it. It's like every single thing they should have like they should have buttoned it up. Like they didn't go all the way with it, you know?
That's a gross understatement, but you're absolutely correct. They didn't. It appears as not only did they not do it, but it looks from every angle to me that it's a cover up or of some sort. I don't know if they're covering up for Odinists. I don't know if they're covering up for fucking Freemasons. I don't know if they're covering up for method whatever, anything you could think of, anything you've heard. I don't know who or why maybe they're just covering up their own incompetence. Like, I don't know. Maybe
I
they were
think it
trying to
has
get
to
a
be incompetence or like I think the most likely answer in like or I think that what they did was like they found that tip and he was there in the right timeline. So it's definitely like justifiable for them to be like, hey, we should take another look at this guy. So then they take another look at him or whatever, and they get his gun and they have like rush that to the lab. And that's a subjective quote unquote science. And so she obviously tried very hard to get that to fit Richard Allen's gun. You know what I mean? Like I think they had it back within 5 days, and that's very fast for that kind of like you don't just they didn't just send it off to the lab and wait for it to come back or anything. And so I think Jerry Holman like maybe overestimated the validity of that data or something and like got hot-headed and arrested him because it seems like that what they did was they instead of like having the evidence lead them to who they're looking at, they took like Richard Allen and retroactively went back and looked for stuff to fit Richard Allen, which gave him like a confirmation bias of a you know, do you know what I mean?
absolutely. I mean, if that's once again, I can see how you could come to that conclusion. I can see how I could come to that conclusion and many other people, but yet I could also see how other people would see what you're saying as, just you're living in a fantasy or whatever. Like I get how people get their bias on one side and I get how people have a bias on another side. My bias is more towards there's got to be some corruption here. Too many fucking missing easy data acquisitions that you could make and prove weren't proved, but yet you guys are finding tips in the middle of the fucking, on birthdays and all this kind of stuff. And it seems like everything went in your favor. Every, roll of the dice you got, or not roll of the dice, but you know what I mean? Seems like everything went in their favor. And then the judge, obviously, the the judge had a lot to do with, well, not a lot, but everything to do with what came in as evidence and what didn't come in and what could stay. Yeah,
Yeah,
just
to the point where it's like I don't know how that's not like blatantly like being prejudicial or whatever because just with the guy, the FBI guy that had like health issues and couldn't come and testify. Plus, I think he was like working on the election. He was like a pretty crucial witness to the defense's side. I would say like without that witness, that really really like destroyed the case that they had against like that white van as something that corroborated his like randomly
yeah,
coherent
yeah.
confessions that somehow weren't recorded, even though everything was recorded. Like they walked around with a camera recording them, but like those aren't.
I don't know if it was Andrea Burkhart or lawyer Lee, but they mentioned something about Brad Weber getting a phone call, like I think that's what you're talking about, that wasn't recorded but they mentioned they don't know what was mentioned in the phone call. But when he came in, he volunteered that he was in a white van.
Oh, that's a whole nother. Another thing that happened, but that also was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Another thing about that whole narrative there is Brad Weber's neighbor had said that like he made another driveway, like a separate driveway that like doesn't use the private drive because he didn't like using it. And so I thought that was interesting. I don't think like that came into court either, you know?
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Another
But
one of
you
those
know that they
things.
looked into him well, or I mean, I guess I don't because I don't know that they did anything well. But like he had a gun that couldn't be excluded. His property is right at the end of the bridge. He's actually literally kidnapped people or like not let them leave his house for trespassing. Like so to say that they didn't look into him is like you would expect them to have looked into him pretty well. And clearly he didn't come home at the time that they're trying to say that he came home. Or at least he didn't when it was looking like it was him to the FBI and stuff. So like not letting that FBI testify remotely, like I just don't see any reason to justify that.
Yeah. I mean, talk about Judge Gull, and it doesn't surprise me that she denied the defense another avenue of defense, someone that would testify in their favor or against, better yet against, because that's not necessarily, it is in their favor because he's a defense witness, but it would be contrary to what the prosecution was presenting in their case, that Brad Weber came home in a white van, and just believe that because we're the prosecution and we're telling you that's what this witness is saying. When the FBI guy would testify, when I took his interview, he said he came home at this time or he went wherever after work.
Yeah, and like we know that his like that FBI guy's testimony, like said that he at least got home like an hour later, and like the reason we would know that is because they actually did get to like read or like they were asking the questions to the other cop that was like paired up with that FBI agent, and like he looked at the transcripts and then he was like, oh, it didn't clear my recollection or whatever. It didn't refresh my recollection enough for him to like corroborate or so they couldn't get that evidence in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and now it's conspiratorial and it's something that we as defense kind of minded people would say that they pay that guy off or somehow incentivized him to say, oh, well, I couldn't recollect because people are taught in court, like Dan the other night, he was saying, he said it a few different times. All Richard Allen had to do in his interrogation was say, "Up, I don't recall." And it's like if you know what to say in a certain time in court under oath, it goes. You pretty much can't deny what they're saying, even if he does recollect. You say, "I don't recollect." Well,
Yeah,
there
but
you go.
Richard Allen, he is a master manipulator with a slow leak to like he's very cunning and he's tricking everybody. like
Yeah, I don't buy that shit. And no offense, because I don't, or not offense to you, but to anyone, I don't know the guy. You don't know the guy. But once again, it's one of those things where you want to make him like Sleuth, for instance. I've listened to a lot of Sleuth, and he'll say that, oh, Richard Allen's like not a genius, but oh well, he's playing 3 steps ahead, and he knew that if he did this or said this, that they were gonna act like this. But then you've got Richard Allen literally doing the dumbest shit ever if he were the guy, and I find it hard to believe that you can be so cunning, but yet so sloppy and lazy and stupid all at the same time. But
well
I mean, it's a crazy world we live in. So
and I love Sleuth's intuition. I think he's great, but that is a little bit who I was talking to when I was talking about being a criminal mastermind, because it just like for one, like why would he put himself in the same like clothes and like all that stuff, and then like that's not a criminal mastermind. Like why he could have just said he saw somebody else like dressed like that, you know what I mean? And then like nothing he did would have been criminal mastermind wise, and like it just doesn't make sense. Even just having the person park at the CPS building, like why did they think that he parked there? I like it, is it because the muddy bloody witness, is that like the sole reason that
Yes,
they
and
thought that?
Dan said that Teddy said on the video of his deposition, they showed the deposition. There was no audio. They showed the video, and Richard Allen pointed to a place on the map that was the old CPS building. Now, I don't know how someone in the gallery of the courtroom could see that so close, because I think it would be a one fixed camera up in the corner. And I guess if you knew what you were looking at, the map they were looking at, and where he was pointing on the map, you could say, because they said there's no audio, but I mean, I don't, that's what Dan said, that he apparently pointed on the map to the CPS building and said, that's where I parked. Now, there was no
Well,
audio,
but
so he didn't say that.
he didn't say that. He didn't say that he drove that way. Like he which like all of these things, I feel like there's no way that the defense like really like, in my opinion, they like spent a lot of time trying to like get rid of his confessions, which totally makes sense because confessions are like probably what it essentially got him convicted. Like no matter what other evidence they had, he kind of like was convicted just from that.
Right.
But like if you think about like his confessions anyways, it's like it's weird that he was like he couldn't make anything in a coherent way, but the ones statements he gave to Walla were like very not only like detailed, but like the order of them was like spot on for like somebody who's functioning at clearly a higher level than he is. And like also Steve, let's watch one more video clip, and then because he talks about like confessions and stuff, and I thought it was interesting. Yeah,
You
Mr.
said
Steve.
Mr. Steve? Yeah, I like
Yeah.
him. I mean, yeah, I like Mr. Steve.
Anyone that drags their wife around like the forest is cool with me.
Yeah, right.
Oh, it's so funny. Okay, hold on. I gotta figure out where nothing. Okay. Right. Oops, I don't even know where we were at with the other video, but it doesn't matter. I swear there's got to be an easier way to share your screen than what I'm doing, but whatever.
Suspects, and can you add anything about confessions or false confessions?
In my career, I had one confession that was deemed false. And the individual was of a lower intelligence level. And you have to be extremely careful when you're interviewing certain individuals so that it doesn't come up in court. But some of the there's so many variables of how law enforcement's trained, regardless if it's read technique, whatever you want to do out there, of how you have to approach this in these interviews. As far as confessions and controlled environment. And we have only how many of the actual controlled interviews do we have from law enforcement? It's far less than what was made by the offender or Richard Allen. And so in those controlled environments. You had, like I said, there's certain things that the court analyze as far as the way you approach an individual, what's offered, what's threatening environments. And one of the things you can't do is of course, interview people that's under influence. And I don't think at the, do we have any videos of where he's interviewed or at any point that he's under influence of any type of drugs?
Just the October 13th to 26th interviews where he seemed totally normal to me.
Yes.
He did to
Okay.
me too.
And that's the thing. And you know, you have to be extremely careful. Law enforcement, we're trained to do those interviews properly. And 61 confessions.
Haunted by a concept you've been dying.
I mean, I'm wondering, like, does that the medication that they put him on, the Adderall, like, does that not considered like a medication or like being under the influence?
You know what? That's a good question. I believe that I don't know if what Mr. Steve was referring to by definition would be under the influence of a narcotic, or because Halidol, I'm not sure if that's defined as a narcotic, because in that setting, when you're using it for someone's health, I don't know if they consider that a certain thing. Now, streetwise, if you had Halidol on the street, or what's a fentanyl? Fentanyl is used technically, in hospitals and whatever. And I know it's a narcotic, I would assume. Like I said, I'm not too versed in that kind of stuff, but I guess if you wanted to call it he was under the influence, you probably could. But then there's probably professionals that would argue that no, he's not under the influence. He's under a controlled environment, or they'd use some fucking words to tell you that no, he wasn't under the influence of anything.
Well, like
Per se.
Mr. Steve was saying that like they have to be like very careful in the way that they talk to him, because like, and I think by controlled he means like not putting stuff into the confession themselves, or like kind of like coaxing it out of them, which like that's a big concern for me on how like the confessions came out with Dr. Walla, because like in a therapy situation or environment, I guess, like that's a whole different
Oh
like
yeah.
you're supposed to have a different goal than
Oh
getting
yeah.
a confession or whatever. And so I don't, that's a tricky way to do it anyways, because like you have somebody who's in a very, very vulnerable position, and like literally he has nobody talking to him. And like I know people think that like they'd be fine in solitary, but like that it was craving, like people will cut themselves and have the cops come in to like do a cell extraction, which is basically beating the shit out of them and putting like tear gas and stuff in their eyes, just to have like human contact, because it's so fucking bad, and like you literally get like desperate for anything. And so to say that like he wouldn't be taking cues from her to like, and she'd probably be like getting excited because she's getting this confession, or like she's obviously interested in the case, so she probably wants to know what happened. Like, I'm not saying that like I necessarily like don't understand how she would want to get the confession, but like there's just a lot of room for inserting like false memories and stuff.
Yeah, the doctor Walla being, there's just this is the prime conspiracy mind of my mind in after the trial, was this woman that was in the communities and had she was privy to rumors, she was privy to what was going on in the people had leaks from law enforcement that were in YouTube channels, that were in Reddit forums, and she was there obtaining all of this information, and like you said, possibly feeding it to him, not in a way to make him confess, but just in general conversation. And it the razor, the box cutter, and the white van are two things that she could have heard from the internet and just brought those up to him,
Mhm.
and he could have implemented those uh in his confession. And it's no coincidence that Brad Weber changed his original statement to white van, and the autopsy, the coroner, whoever did the autopsy, changed his. He just so happened to be passing a fucking box cutter in his garage. And like,
Mhm.
oh wow, that could be what the weapon was. Let me go change this report that I did fucking however long ago to fucking a box cutter. And now, oh, what do you know? Richard Allen confessed to using a box cutter and seeing a white van. And these are both things that were changed from original statements
And
that,
there's the
you know,
only corroborating stuff that only the killer would know, but the cops didn't even know.
yeah, yeah,
Like
exactly.
when
Like,
they said only the killer would know, I thought they meant also that they would know and they were like looking for something, like for example, like the directions or number of wounds like on their necks or whatever. Like that would be something that only the killer would know, but also the cops would actually be able to verify that. Not like something that literally only the killer would know and the cops didn't even know about it. And so it could, I mean, you could tell them anything if they don't know about it. Like what are they looking for?
yeah, it all, once again, that's like peak conspiracy theorist right there. Or I call myself a conspiracy analyst, not a theorist. I like to analyze the conspiracy in my mind. That's
Yeah.
what I come up with. It makes, the only thing that makes sense is that somehow they're corroborating this stuff to get this guy convicted. Now maybe he is the fucking guy. I'll always say that until fucking something else happens. Like I don't know what else could happen, but he could be the guy for all I know. But everything points to me that this is just too many things fall in the favor of the law enforcement, the prosecution, to make it past the eye test for me.
Well, and it's not like the one thing. It's already a circumstantial case, right? And then like the information that they do have is like it barely like they're trying to make it fit, but like they have to do that by like not finalizing anything. Like with the car, they didn't like have the FBI's like they have like car matching things where they could spot cars that like anywhere, you know, like that they're really good at it. They don't have like any of that like software that has like actual data points that you could like say is more reliable. Like look for that car. They didn't even look to see if there was other cars that were like that in the area until the jury asked them. Like that's lazy and it's unacceptable and people should be like fired for that they didn't even like go so far as to be like how many of those cars are in the area anyways. And then they say
Where
one, but they're like talking about like the exact SE like model, which like that's disingenuous too. Like what about all the other cars that look like that in the area?
where exactly does Brad Weber work?
At Subaru in I think we could watch another video and it might say it because I have like a
Okay,
link.
well they want to. I'm not bringing Brad Holder into this, but I'll just use
Oh,
him
Brad
as the
Holder. I thought
example.
you were talking
No, no,
about
no. They
Weber.
say No, I said Brad Weber, but I'll use Brad Holder. They say, oh, he's got an alibi, rock solid, clocking into work, fucking clocking out of work, blah blah blah. He was there. You're not gonna, give your card to somebody and they have all the reasons as to why Brad Weber has an alibi. Okay, well, is it too much to ask for Brad Weber's time card for that day to see, not just because I think he did it or anything, but just give me a timeline. Where does Brad Weber fit on the timeline? I know this is going to sound crazy, but a multi-million slash billion-dollar industry like Subaru, you mean to tell me they don't have cameras that monitor their parking lots Do we have Brad Weber coming and going from work that day in whatever vehicle he drove to work in that day? Or is that too much to ask for?
Well,
Because
they also should be able to like pick that kind of stuff up on like other cameras in the area, like the Hoosier, or not the Hoosier Harbor Store, but the pig killing place where they are doing that construction job. They had that camera, and like so, and
there's
then
cameras all along the way. There's a digital trail everywhere. Brad Weber had his fucking phone on him that day. I'm
and
sure of it.
trail cams that curiously weren't working, but
Yeah, just so much things that aren't so much information that could stop. I mean, if I was pro prosecution minded, I would want all that information out there to stop people like me from, you know, conspiracy
well, the thing is,
analyzing.
they do have that stuff. Like I know that not like everything Mark said was correct or whatever, but like he did know some stuff. And one of the things was that there's like a storage place in the area that had cameras that like they never collected the stuff. And then like that guy got a call like later, then they were like, "Oh, do you still have that camera footage?" And he like luckily he had saved it. And so they're like we know that they do have more stuff. Like they have the Google geofence where they had like the step 1, and then they also had the things plotted on the map, but they didn't know the step 2 and 3. Like it doesn't mean that that stuff doesn't exist. It's there. You know it's there because they have the map. And they don't put that stuff in because it's not against Richard Allen, but it's like that's why all that stuff is missing, because they do have stuff like that. It just doesn't point in that direction, I think.
Yeah, it's frustrating to be to raise these questions and then just be told something like, well, that isn't evidence in the case, or that wouldn't matter against evidence against him, so it doesn't matter. It's like, but that's the whole point. You guys, that you clearly see the argument that that Brad Weber gave a certain statement days or weeks leading or following the murder. And then now you see that the defense is claiming that he's changing his testimony from that time. He's re-recollecting, whatever you want to fucking call it. So people are going to have questions about that. You can't just dismiss it and say, well, he's the guy and that's it. It's like, but there's more. There's a reason why. Like, I'm not so close-minded. I'm open-minded to the sense of like, where's all of this information?
Well, and just like if they have this guy and they can't clear his gun, and he has like a gun that's similar, and then if he had said that he got home at 2:30 or whatever, like then that would have put him like exactly in the right place for him to be like the guy. And he's like, you know, that they looked into that him like, or I mean, I assume that they looked into him really well, because like he had to have not been home in order for them to like not have been interested in him.
Yeah, the bullet, like from his gun. I mean, I don't think Brad Weber did this, not because I know anything. I just haven't been led down that conspiracy, that rabbit hole. Okay, but I think it's more possible that since Brad Weber lived there and he had a gun, or Ron Logan lived there and he had a gun, that one of their bullets would be found in that area. Now, one of the bigger questions I had was, how are you going to drop a bullet from your pocket, your jacket pocket, your breast pocket, wherever, whoever, if they say the bridge guy took him down there, Richard Allen, and he dropped the bullet that he racked up on the bridge, because they say that they heard that, and then he picked it up and put it in his side pocket, breast pocket of his shirt, of his jacket, and it fell out. It was bullet down in the dirt. Okay, like if you drop a bullet 100 times, 100 out of 100 times, it's not going to go into the ground.
Yeah.
Even if you step on it, it might imprint into the dirt a little bit. It might go in, but there's no way that you're going to run over that bullet with your foot and cause it to aim straight down and then, or even at an angle, and push it into the dirt. Like that doesn't jive with me.
Yeah.
So, but once again, that's what they say. But did they show a picture of the bullet in court in the ground? Because I didn't hear them say, oh, yeah, they showed the pictures or a picture of the bullet. They said that they had the evidence. They said that they had it in the fucking evidence bag and it went from custody to this person. And you can't question all these people. And it's like, actually, you can.
And like, you know what would have been a good thing for like to convince me more of, not that you have to convince me, but like just like a good because like you would think that like without them not getting the height and stuff like that, it's like, don't they want to like know who actually did this? Like people say they didn't do it because it might have like gone away from Richard Allen, but like don't they want the truth, you know? But like as far as the bullet goes, like they had, okay, so she couldn't clear Brad Weber's gun, right? But she said that after she tested Richard Allen's gun, that she would have been able to go back and clear Brad Weber's. So why not like show those pictures to like the jury and stuff and be like, do you see how like this mark and this mark shows that, like, you know what I mean? Like this is how I can say that this one is actually the one and this one isn't. And I would really like to know if she fired all the guns or just like the one, because you can just like add something in there.
That's a good question. I mean, I know that if I were sitting in trial that day for her, I would have the answers to those questions. And the people that reported, they did it, an awesome job for whichever side they were on, prosecution or defense. But I don't recall them saying that they might have showed the jury, the pictures of the bullets, but I don't think that they had them on a big screen TV and everyone in the gallery was privy to see them to relay that to their audience like you and me. But
I'm just like, why keep everybody out of the case? Like it is like so frustrating that people are okay with that, because if you think about like how much are the transcripts going to cost, right? Like a lot. And they're going to take forever to get back. And people are like, okay, just move on. And I'm like, I can't like move on because I just like need the answers. Plus he's not even sentenced yet. Like, why is she like put it out until like right before Christmas? That's weird too. Like, and I would think harmful to the families, but like, and then gag everybody until, I don't know. It's just, the whole thing is not to my satisfaction. I don't know.
Yeah, once again, that's a gross understatement. It doesn't, I can't imagine. I mean, I don't think that I'm some kind of a genius, okay? Because even the pro prosecution side people will listen to this stuff and they can see the glaring holes, but they're so emotionally invested in it. They just needed that conviction, but they're just willing to disregard. They don't want the answers because it might lead to something else. I don't think that I don't want to say missing anything. I just have more questions than I've gotten answers from this case.
It's not even like I want them to have done like a stellar job. I just want the few points that they did make. I just want them to have those points actually be like credible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I didn't want to talk about it afterwards either, because I was like, I'm just gonna say it's him and they got him, and I just, because I just can't do this case anymore. I just can't deal with it anymore. And like, I mean, if the timeline is correct, he could just be the guy. Like the timeline would line up perfectly if it's exactly as they say it is, which like I'm not convinced that it is, but like I could make myself believe that. But anytime I actually start talking about like the evidence and stuff, it's just I can't. I just like it like, but how? How is this like? How did Steve Mullins like? How is Steve Mullins their technology guy and the prosecutor guy and got to be in court the whole time, and then like I don't know. How is he still the technology guy when he erased all the evidence and he's like 80 years old, you know? I don't know. There's so many things.
Before the case, I read that the defense was trying to get Max Baker. Was that his name? Max Baker?
Yeah.
Whoever their guy was, they were trying to get him in the entire time, even though he was going to be a witness. And in the state of Indiana, all states are different. They're allowed, I think each side is allowed 2 people for if they can justify it to the judge, and that's very loose, you know. What does that even mean? Because the judge could have told the defense, no, I'm actually surprised that she did let that Max Baker guy in there the whole time.
Uh-huh.
Honestly, but it doesn't surprise me she allowed the prosecution to have whatever 2 people they wanted in the case in court the entire time. Not surprised at all.
Yeah. I like, and just the whole way like to investigate the leak, or these 3 people mostly Jerry Holman and Mullins and Liggett are involved in this case like from the beginning, and like they really just like keep like a stranglehold on all the information and stuff to it, and like to the point where like then once like Nick becomes the prosecution, then he brings, Mullins over to work with him. And then who's investigating the leak? It's Jerry Holman. But he's also like being questioned in the Frank's memo. And it's like, how are they involved in all of it? You know what I mean? Like these 2, they don't have any other cops to do this stuff. It's just these people, like for everything. I don't know. It's weird.
It seems once again it's like the good old boy thing where they have to have each other's back. They're probably all so deep somehow in some kind of corruption that they have to bring in the people that they're uh, corrupt with, because they
I don't
know
even know if
they
it's
can get them to do
corruption.
more corrupt shit. I don't either. It's just like I said, that's the only thing that makes sense with all this bullshit, dumb shit, fucking incompetence. Like nobody is incompetent as these fucking people. Like it's impossible to be in law enforcement. And I mean, I don't really know any cops, so I guess it is possible, but it's highly improbable that there's so much incompetence yet people still fucking have jobs.
Well, I definitely
Because
wouldn't say that they're representative of all cops, because I think there's cops that do like a way like they take pride in what they do, and like they
sure,
are like
sure.
One thing that I thought was really interesting was that guy from the interview room. He was talking about how like actually I've heard like multiple FBI criminal people talking about like how Richard Allen just doesn't meet like the behavior arc of a typical like somebody who would do a crime like this. He doesn't have any of those indicators in his background, which is not to say that it couldn't ever happen, but like if you're going to go with that guy, you should be eliminating people like Keegan Kline, who has like every single marker that you would think of somebody who would like do something like this, or like even Brad Weber. He's like or Ron Logan. There's so many other people that like you could literally put them on trial and they would be convicted as guilty, and
Right.
like easily. Like I'm pretty sure like any of those 3 people you could get convicted pretty easily, with actual evidence.
I think when I first got into this case, that I think Keegan Kline had just like the Anthony shots just had come out, and that's what drew some kind of a buzz. And I mean, initially I was like, oh wow, okay, yeah, this guy he was talking to her the day before. That sounds like they're onto something. But the more I looked into it, I think it was like Rick Snay was talking about Daniel Pearson, or you know, something else. And then that was like, they showed the video of Daniel Pearson at the bridge that he made in high school or
Oh,
something.
yeah,
And I'm like,
that's
oh,
weird
wow.
too.
Yeah, I'm like, this is kind of weird. It could be this guy. And then it was, you know, then it was Ron Logan. It was his property. I'm looking at Bridge Guy. I'm like, isn't he in the same clothes literally the day after? Like, it could be that guy. And then
Yeah.
it's just like, all right, could be
Garrett
this guy,
Kurtz.
could be that guy.
Garrett Kurtz.
Well,
Like,
I never got
he,
into get Garrett Kurtz, but then
oh my
the more
gosh, he was
it
a good
went
one.
on, yeah, the more it went on, it was you know, all these names are popping up as it could be this person. And then Odinist came up, and I'm like, wait a second, you know, like, this is just not that I believed it is or isn't any of those people, but I'm just listening to all the things, trying, you know, just getting totally mind fucked.
Or it's like they were gonna, something bad was gonna happen, like all those people to be in contact. Yeah, I hope that it's not just because like we're looking at it with a fine-tooth comb, and that's actually how it is everywhere, because that's like terrifying. It's like so scary to think that like that's how it is everywhere, because like you cannot protect your kids if that's the way it is. You know?
Yeah, all
You-
these people that I just mentioned, and you mentioned Garrett Kurtz, all these people fit that profile you were talking about, or the markers of a person that would do something like this. And here, Richard Allen doesn't fit any of those markers. You have all these 1 in a million chances of losing a tip. Like, how many tips? This is a question I had. How many tips did Dan Doolin lose of the tips he took? I know he initially, I thought that they set him up at a grocery store
yeah.
to take tips from people. That was the narrative I heard. Then, during trial, they said that Richard Allen, he called Richard Allen while he was on his way there to the grocery store. So he said, "Well, I'll just meet you at the grocery store. I'm on my way there because I just got the
Mhm.
call and I'm on my way there. You want to meet me there?" But how many tips did Dan Doolin take, and how many tips did Dan Doolin lose and misplace, or fucking spill coffee on and wad it up and throw it away? Like, how many did he take, and how many did he lose? Because if he only lost Richard Allen's, that's 1 in a million. The one fucking tip you lose is the guy that did it. And then later down the road, 1 in a million chance that the woman comes across the fucking one paper that says cleared, or one of the whole box, they're all cleared, whatever. And she looks at it and says, oh, wow, this guy actually could be the guy, or this tip fits something someone said the other day, or whatever her story was. It's just so many 1 in a million things that lead to the one guy that shows no characteristics of this behavior at all. And it just seems like a frame job. And then people will ask, well, why would they want to frame Richard Allen? It's like, take Richard Allen's name out of there and just put anyone. They'll frame fucking anybody. That's kind of what they do. Richard Allen didn't do anything to them in a sense, except fucking be there evidently and say that he was there. So it's like, all right, here's somebody that says they were there. Maybe we can manipulate this to make it look like he was there at the time.
Well, and they say like that I totally forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, but like
That's because you're
yeah,
stoned.
I did actually take a hit of weed before I came on here, because Charles, like I'm like nervous to go on, you know, and like Charles was like, you should smoke weed, and so I took like one hit, and then freaking that wasn't a good idea. And then I was
That
like stressed
explains the
out.
technical difficulties.
No, no, that was like Discord wasn't working, and then like my freaking phone was like also glitching out. I was like, it's they're after me. That's the conspiracy. They didn't want me to talk about this stuff. I'm just kidding. But like their whole story about like the tip in the first place, it just like it does, the tip narrative is what they call it. Like say they did lose that. Like Dan Doolin was on stage 2 days later at that press conference, and like where they played the audio or whatever, and he was on stage and he wasn't like, hey, actually, you know what? There was a guy that was there at that time that like sounds
Yeah,
sort
I
of,
just
or like,
talked to him 2 days ago.
Even if like it doesn't even matter if he sounded like him or anything, like wouldn't he be like, I wonder what they ever did with that guy, you know?
How later did they show the video of Bridge Guy?
Dude, the picture came out like
Or not the
maybe
video,
the
I'm sorry.
next
Yeah,
day.
the picture, the still picture. Yeah, same thing. It's like you've got a guy that just talked to you yesterday, dude. Okay, he said he was there at this fucking time. I don't know if he told Dan Doolin, because if Dan Doolin took the notes, if I talked to somebody today and I wrote down, okay, blue Carhartt jacket, blue jeans, to 1:30 to 3:30,
He didn't say what he was
fucking,
wearing that day.
he didn't say, okay, either way, like you've got a guy there that's 5'5", 5'6", 5'4", short guy. I don't know if that's average for that area or not, but regardless, you just talked to the fucking guy and he said he was there, and now you've got a picture of someone that resembles, because only a fucking asshole would say that Bridge Guy doesn't resemble Richard Allen, because the person, like I said, is white. So right, that right
That's
there tells
bingo.
me,
Got him.
yeah, not that you got him, but yeah, that he fits that description. He looks kind of like that guy for sure. So here you are, Dan Doolin, 2, 3 days later, right in front of the fucking picture. You're showing it to everybody, and you can't remember that a guy that fits that description, you talked to him fucking 2 days ago, 3 days ago. That's it just, I don't know.
Yeah, and like, was he clearing people? Because I don't think he had like that authority to clear people. Maybe he did. I don't know. But like, also, how did it get into the Orion system? Like, it still doesn't make sense. Like, even having all those things be true, they still should have come back to that guy because he was on the trail that day. And in Orion, it's made to connect things and stuff. And so when you go back and you're like, I don't know who did this, let's start at the beginning. Where should we start? How about the people that were on the trail that day? You know,
Yeah, you'd think in that Orion system, yes, this is 2017 people, because people want to say like, oh, they didn't have this kind of technology back in 2017. It's like bullshit. They fucking did have that technology back in
dude,
2017.
the FBI and
It's
stuff, they have
better
all kinds
today.
of crazy stuff. No, they
Yeah.
had good stuff back then. They just don't talk about
Yeah,
that
they
stuff.
could have just, in that Orion system you're mentioning, they could have just typed in what you said, like at the bridge that day, and fucking boom, all the people that said that they were at the bridge that day, if it were in one sentence, that would come up. Pretty simple, because you got tips of people that say, oh, well, I saw somebody that looked like him fucking 2 days later or a week later at the thing, and that's not going to come up.
Well, and
But yeah,
it's like yeah. Well, let's watch this little video that All Eyes did. I think it's actually like maybe 8 minutes, but I'll play it at like twice the speed. But because you were talking about the Odin stuff, so we're just gonna listen to this really quick.
okay.
Well, not really quick because it takes me like 2 minutes just to get it to play.
This is the first time I ever used StreamYard on my phone and watching YouTube on my laptop. So,
But how's it working? Good.
I mean, it's fine. I'm multitasking. I think my laptop is 3 seconds behind my phone. So,
Less than a year after Unified Command finally made an arrest in the Delphi murders, Sherry Holman was deposed. On August 10th, 2023, Holman testified that there was no physical or digital evidence linking Richard Allen to the crime scene or the victims. No data extracted from his phone connected him to the murders. No data extracted from Libby's phone connected him to the murders. No evidence connected Richard Allen to any other suspects in the case. No evidence found on social media connected him to the murders. No evidence extracted from his computers connected him to the murders. And no fingerprint evidence connected him to the murders. Holman also testified that early in the investigation, one of the investigators viewing the crime scene thought it might be the work of Odinists. Holman said that based upon the thought that Odinism may explain how the bodies were found and how the sticks were arranged on top of the girls, Unified Command sought out an expert in order to consider whether the crime scene was indicative of Odinism or some other cult. Holman stated that he'd forgotten which investigator it was that thought it might be the work of Odinists, but that Sergeant Steve Buckley of the Indiana State Police was in charge of locating an expert, and the expert Buckley found was from Purdue University. According to Holman, the professor was out of the country at the time, and law enforcement didn't want to release the photos, so they sent a sketch of the sticks depicting how they were laid and some other information. Holman said the Purdue professor studies Norwegian and Nordic culture, but that Buckley was the one in communication with him about it. Holman confirmed that he never spoke to or with the Purdue professor himself, but that the professor said the sticks found on the girls did not represent Odinism or any type of cult worshipping or any type of group that would have conducted the crime. During his deposition, Holman was also asked about Dan Doolin. When asked if Doolin made any mistakes in the report he drafted following his interview with Mr. Allen, Holman answered, "There was an error. I don't know if it was processing or whatever you want to call it, but at some point, it got lost in the shuffle and entered incorrectly. Every news report I ever found about how that tip got lost in the shuffle or entered incorrectly, or whatever you want to call it, led back to the Murder Sheet podcasters and an unnamed investigative source telling tales of a clerical error, which the FBI promptly and publicly called bullshit on." Holman was also shown images gathered by detectives Greg Ferenczi, Kevin Murphy, and Todd Click during their investigation. When Holman was asked if there were any notable similarities between the photos, Holman pretended not to see any of note. When Holman was shown Betsy Blair and Sarah Carbaugh sketches, Holman was adamant that there were only minor differences, and he insisted both sketches of the two different men were the same man. Holman then enlightened the defense that Indiana State Police Superintendent Doug Carter kicked the FBI off the Delphi case around 2021 over what he called some conflicts, which is certainly the strangest way I've heard any member of law enforcement describe Greg Ferenczi's death. And despite Ferenczi's investigation into Brad Holder as a suspect, Holman testified that Brad Holder was not ever really considered a suspect by law enforcement. After Holman's deposition, it appears a search began for the Purdue professor because on August 12th, the Purdue police contacted Holman to confirm that they identified the Purdue professor as Dr. Jeffrey Turco. On August 14th, Holman told Prosecutor McClellan that he possibly identified the professor, and the prosecutor told Holman to go meet with the professor so that the state could confirm he was the one who wrote the report for Unified Command in 2017. Because Holman told the prosecutor that he only possibly identified the unnamed professor, when in fact, the Purdue police confirmed his identity as Dr. Jeffrey Turco, Holman obviously had to then contact Professor Turco to inquire if he was the professor law enforcement asked to assist them with their investigation 6 years earlier. Holman took possession of the Purdue report, but it's unclear if Turco provided Holman with a copy of it or if Holman had it the whole time. On September 6th, defense contacted Nick McClellan to remind the prosecutor they still need the name of that Purdue professor as they still needed to depose him in preparation for trial. And I shit you not, the prosecutor told defense, "As stated before, we are trying to identify the Purdue professor, but no luck yet. Detective Holman has reached out to the FBI in Purdue and has not gotten a response yet. We will continue our endeavors, but may not be able to find him/her." On September 18th, Richard Allen's defense team filed a motion for a Franks hearing. Within the Franks motion was references to the missing Purdue professor the state had been lying about for the last month to obstruct defense from deposing in preparation for trial. One day later, on September 19th, Holman sat down for that meeting the prosecutor asked him to take care of a month earlier. At the beginning of the interview, Holman apologized to Professor Turco for the 3 to 4 weeks it took him to sit down and talk. On September 22nd,
Dude, like so many things that she just went through right there that are like factual things that are just Jerry Holman being like a shady like cop or whatever. Yeah. Like, and everybody's just like doesn't, or like you don't have to subscribe to like the Odinist theory to see the issues that were present throughout like this whole like the defense trying to present their case, but just like the cop in general, like Jerry Holman being like, I don't know who that is. Like he didn't, like, how is he going to say he cared about like the families and stuff when he did a sloppy ass job of investigating everything?
Once again, it feeds the conspiracy mind, you know? Like it feeds my brain to think that there's some cover up or corruption. Like why are you not being honest? Why are you not being forthright with the information?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you want the real person to be, if it's gonna lead to nothing, you should still tell people so they can, cross that off of their to-do list, so to speak.
Yeah,
It doesn't
exactly.
make
There's
it doesn't make common sense to see cops like Holman lying in these depositions. Now, I don't think that that transcript that she's reading from was manipulated to elicit conspiracy theorists, to be more conspiratorial. I think that what she's reading from is a legit transcript of what it is what it is. And you can't come away from that with anything other than the guys being dishonest.
well, not just that, but like they wrote that Frank's memo and they put it out, and then it was like after that they told him like we may never be able to find out who it was, and then like
Blatant lie.
come to find out they fucking knew exactly who it was, and like
Yeah.
so it was like confirming everything that they had just written in the Frank's memo, but like that means nothing because I really wish they just hadn't put like the Odinist part, and they should have like had said in like some like cultish kind of crime or something like that,
Well,
I don't
once
know.
again, the conspiracy mind makes me think the harder that the law enforcement doesn't want Odinist stuff, they're trying like, oh, we don't even know what you're talking about. What do you mean? Like, no, we didn't look into that. No, we don't know who we talked to about that. We don't know anything about that. I mean, that just makes you think that they know exactly what that is, and there has to be a reason that you guys are not being forthright with that information.
Or like when
Now,
they were talking about the evidence that they lost, and they said they had Brad Holder come in as an expert, and that's why they didn't film it. Oh man.
yeah, that I missed that, but that once again doesn't surprise me. I mean, yeah, you're getting him to come in because you guys think Odinist might have something to do with it, and you recorded the fucking not interrogation, but whatever it would be, and then you erased it or just decided not to record it because fucking whatever, it was Wednesday, fucking whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, just too many things, but repeatedly leading up to the trial makes me
Dude, and how do
believe.
people not like All Eyes on Delphi? She's like she does a very good job, and she's like put everything together like so clearly right here. She just gives the information for anybody to use.
I would imagine people don't like her and or people like her because she has a narrative and she believes in, I don't know if she necessarily believes in his guilt or innocence, but I believe that she wants what she feels is the truth out there, and people don't want to hear it, and just like other chat groups and fucking Reddit groups, whatever, people become friends, people side with other people that some people don't like, and then you hate somebody because they talk to this person and or that person. I'm sure she's just a victim and whatever, a protagonist and an antagonist in that. I'm sure she's pissed some people off, probably purposefully, and I'm sure that people have gotten pissed off by what she just does.
Mm-hmm. And like and her very calm, quiet voice.
Yeah, right.
But yeah.
Yeah, I like listening to her stuff. I mean, granted, she speaks to my where I'm at with this kind of.
No, I know. I had to like I literally stopped going in all like the pro defense side and like listening to like all that stuff to try to like get myself to just get on board with like what was happening. And like even to this day I still like try to like keep it in my head like like they really could have just gotten lucky and got Richard Allen and he's the right guy, but like just everything inside of me like, but then I know like I look at the pro prosecution side and when they say I feel like he's the right guy, I just feel I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, you feel like it, you know? But like, I feel like he's the wrong
Yeah.
guy.
I think I've mentioned this before. When it comes to the prosecution people and the defense people, I think defense people want answers, and they'll fucking talk to anybody all night long about it to try to fucking crack something
Argue
where
all night long.
not even argue, just brainstorm, whatever you want to call it. Arguing, sure, but you know, the prosecution people just are so dead set on their feelings because once again, I said it, there are 6 degrees of separation from the family. And it's almost like saying that Richard Allen isn't the guy is like going against the family somehow, or going against someone you know that knows the family. And there's just kind of a lot of that. Or, you know, even creators like fucking Gray Hughes, I think. He's talked to Kelsey numerous times. I don't know if he's ever been to Delphi and met the Patties and everybody involved, but it's like he's trying not necessarily insert himself, but he cares more about his channel and his fucking donations than he does, I think, about any real case or any real person. I could be wrong, but he just wants more subscribers. He wants more. He wants to be right, you know, and being right to him leads to more subscribers. And I mean, in this case, he's been, oh, he's the guy. He's the bridge guy. Does his analysis and all that. And to his credit, they convicted him. He's right, you know. So hope he gets a million subscribers out of it. But I'll still sit here and think, you know, like what you just showed from All Eyes. This guy lied about this. They're trying to hide this stuff. Why? You can't tell me that he lied because, like they say, Richard Allen thought 3 steps ahead. You can't tell me that Holman was lying in his deposition to stop the defense from wasting their time looking into something that was a dead end. You know, that doesn't work for me. They were hiding that stuff for a reason. They didn't tell about Turco for a reason. What that reason is, don't know.
Dude, why did Turco not like testify? That like bothers me.
Don't know. I don't know. Did the defense want him in there? Because that was part of the stuff that Gull said you can't bring this third party shit in there.
No, but like, why wouldn't the prosecution bring him in, or like the defense? Why wouldn't either side?
Because if the prosecution brought him in and he brought up the word rune or fucking Odin or Norse, pagan, fucking any of that stuff, I think it would have given the defense the right to then bring that stuff up.
But then why didn't they call him in then?
The same reason. You would think that if anyone that the state interviewed in any capacity whatsoever under this taxpayer's dollar, you would think that the defense would have a right to call that person in and question them about what the cops asked them or
I'm pretty
why.
sure that they could have subpoenaed him, like, which like brings up another point that like I feel like the defense wasn't putting on their A game like for the trial, or they should have like hammered a few things in like much more than they did.
Yeah, it's retarded.
I don't know. I just have to. I like really just try to brainwash myself to believe that it's him because I just don't want to care anymore. You know, I just want it to be like, I want it to be him because like if it's not him, then it's messed up on like so many levels. And like I mean, like if the timeline's correct, like it really like is simple enough that like it could just be him. Like the time if that's his car and he parked and he went out there, like I mean maybe it just went down like that and it just doesn't make sense because like some shit just doesn't make sense, you know?
Yeah, the fact that he's such a criminal mastermind that he kept the car, he kept the gun, he kept the clothes, and I mean, the gun was at trial, but the clothes weren't at trial. They didn't find anything in his car, so that was irrelevant. But yet he lost his phone. But I was talking to Dan about it, and Dan, and I pretty much I don't think he ditched his phone because he thought that was going to they're going to track him back to the place because of his phone. He probably legitimately just turned it in or traded it in to fucking his provider or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long after they interrogated him did they actually give out a search warrant, or give out a search warrant and then interrogate him. I don't know what the order of that went and how many days were in between, but he didn't I don't know if he had any pre-knowledge of a search warrant, because you would think that he would have had time to get rid of anything like his gun, for instance, and the keepsake
Well, I
box
mean,
with a
6
bullet
years.
in
He
it.
had fucking 6. You know what? That part is weird though. Like, because if he did have like that brand, because like it seems like the other brands of bullets he had was like Blazar or whatever, unless those are like the ones that the lab
Blazer.
uses to whatever. Blazar sounds way cooler.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Blazar.
No, I have no idea about guns or anything, but like if he does have like the same ammunition in a keepsake box, um I mean that's pretty like weird. That's pretty like guilty,
Yeah,
I
once
guess.
again, it's another one of those. I wouldn't say it's one in a million type of thing, but what are the chances you're going to get this guy off the lost tip, the cleared tip, and then you're going to go to his house, you're going to have a treasure trove, supposedly gun, smoking gun, fucking prized bullet. That was that the other bullet, that was that the one that fell out on the
I
bridge?
mean, I
Did
feel
he
like that's what's kind of implied, like, or it's not like implied, but like that's like I don't know, because they supposedly it was in that keepsake box with like a picture of with like pictures of the bridge or something. But
I
like his
thought he had
daughter's
pictures of the bridge around his house, like on the walls or on a desk.
well, I mean his daughter did take her senior pictures at the bridge, so would make sense that he would have those pictures on his wall. But
Yeah, I didn't hear about the pictures in the keepsake box. I only heard of a bullet in the keepsake box. But once again, I asked this in a chat once. It's like, are law enforcement in any degree, FBI, whoever's doing a warrant, a search, are they supposed to, like, if I find something here, am I supposed to take a picture of it? Just like at the crime scene when you found a bullet, am I supposed to take a picture of this keepsake box with a bullet in it?
I think so.
Where's that? Am I supposed to take pictures of
Well, I
the
mean,
box cutter or
they
the
did
fucking
they did pass out like a
multi-tools?
they did pass out like a lot of stuff to the jury that like the gallery didn't get to see. I don't know if it's the gallery. The like people watching didn't get to see like a lot of the evidence that the jury did get to see. And so like I don't know. I think the jury did a good job with what they were presented, but I just really feel like that one witness that would have like challenged Weber's testimony was like I think that is like hugely unfair to the defense. And then also what else did they like not get in that I thought was like a deal breaker? Oh, their metallurgist witness. Like there was no reason for him not to be allowed to testify.
Yeah, I forget who brought it up, but the jury, they're going to do interviews, they're going to write books, whatever the fuck they're going to do. But I'm more interested in what the jury has to say after they hear
Oh my
or
gosh, I know.
do their own kind of YouTube fucking deep dives or fucking Reddit, wherever this kind of information is at, what they're going to say a year from now or 6 months from now, if they're going to think any of this stuff is true, any of this stuff is relevant, any of this stuff is not relevant. I just want to know what they think. I don't think they're gonna be on, oh man, we fucking convicted an innocent guy. I just want to hear what they have to say as far as their deep dives after the fact.
Yeah.
I think that would be a good if they got them into a room a year from now and they were all doing their own independent kind of research on it. Because I can't imagine being in a jury in a trial in a state where this kind of case has as much significance kind of as it does. Obviously, it's a murder of two kids, but there's significance because they caught the guy. I can't imagine being a jury member and not and just like closing the book when you leave, just never looking back on this kind of thing, never
Mhm.
doing your own kind of research into it. I can't imagine that. I imagine these people will probably want to.
Well, like the thing with the like confessions are such like a powerful like thing that like they um they did like studies and like basically once somebody confesses, like their defense team will do a shittier job, like, you know, and the judge will like not care as much. And like it's just like it's a ripple effect. Like sometimes witnesses who would have testified for them like don't testify for them because like people cannot imagine like that they would say that they did something like this if they didn't. And they like I hear all the time like if I was him, I would have been on the stand testifying or whatever. And like I mean maybe if he had if it had been right when he got like arrested and he had like his clear mind, he would have had like that fight in him or whatever. But like they like pretty much immediately like whisked him off. People didn't even know like who he was or what he was charged with, and he was already like in a prison. Like it was a very quick like um they didn't even release like his charging information the way they were supposed to do. Like right from the beginning they were already
Yeah.
trying to like hide everything.
Well, I don't know the timeline of that, but I've heard people reference like, oh, well, he didn't have an attorney. He denied an attorney. He said he was going to get his own attorney. And then he was in a time where he didn't have one because he said he didn't need a public defender or anything. He was going to get his own, but then realized how expensive it was. So all those things have, like I said, I don't know the timeline, but he might not they might have done all that shit wrong or looks fucked up, but he didn't have an attorney to help him in that regard.
Well, I know like and where I live, like if you say you're like if you were to be like, "Oh, I'm going to get my own attorney," they would still appoint like a public defender like to help you with that particular like court session. So I don't know how he like literally didn't have an attorney at all, you know?
Well, that's the thing. It's kind of your, I don't want to say you're right, duh, but if you say I'm going to get my own attorney, they don't just say, no, 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 no. You have to have an attorney this second. Here's one appointed to you, whatever. They let you take the time to fucking acquire your own attorney. And that takes time. He
Well,
looked into it.
if they're gonna be making decisions, they I think they would maybe appoint one. I don't know.
No, no, I don't think that they wait for you. It's like you either have an attorney or you fucking don't. There's no like grace period where they say,
Yeah.
"Oh, well, we can't process this part of your in, intake. You know, the intake to jail to prison. Your transfer from here to there. We can't wait on you to have a fucking attorney before we do anything with you."
Yeah.
I mean, at least that's what I think. I've only been arrested fucking twice, and it was for weed, so it's not really. It was pretty cut
Did
and
you know
dry
there's
for
still
me.
people in like prison for like life for weed like that's legal nowadays? That's wild to me.
I don't know what I would do if I were in prison for life. Well, there's
maybe
what is
maybe
it?
not life. Maybe that was an
Possession.
overexaggeration.
Like
I
there's a
don't know.
possession and then there's intent to distribute. And if you've got fucking hundreds of pounds or shit like that, like I can understand how and why, because you have state lines, you have amounts of money that are involved with this kind of shit. So yeah, I get how there's still people that are in there for weed trafficking. But then again, if you told me that there was someone in prison for life for possession, I'd be surprised. But then again, that might have been the thing that got a fucking the guy's third strike. And under the
Yeah.
3-strike rule,
Mhm.
you're going away, and it was a simple fucking violation. So I know that
Or
that's
you
kind
could
of
be
goes.
freaking smoking and driving and fucking hit a car and then just tell the cops that you have the weed and give it to them. Like, then make a stream about it too, just to make sure that they got you fucking saying that, yep, you had weed.
Yeah,
Like,
that was fucking hilarious. I watched that and I was like, wait a second. I didn't know where he was going with it because I don't watch anyone else's channel. I was watching his. He's like, oh, I was in the fucking parking lot. Oop, I bumped this car and fucking this and that. I'm like, that sucks, but whatever. And
yeah.
he's like, yeah, it turns out fucking the cops would pull up or he call the cops to fucking to tell him that he did it or something like that.
Yeah. No, he called him to like report, because I think
Yeah.
it's like his work truck or whatever. So he like felt like he had to or something. But like, I mean, come
Yeah.
on, he had to have been stoned if he didn't think that went through.
Fucking ridiculous. That was funny. But once again, I've been in trouble with weed. I would never, I wouldn't laugh at him for even doing such an idiotic thing. I can't find it in myself. But I
Yeah, but
will
like, how
say
old
that,
were you when you did it yourself?
oh shit, I was 21, maybe
I mean,
20, 22,
so
maybe. It
that's
was
more.
twice within like a 2-year period. So, but each time I got released on my own recognizance, I had to go to court and fucking pay a fine, and that was it. I didn't have to do any jail time. I was in what they call, what is it? The shoe, not what they call it in prison. It's where the jail that I went to. It's like a horseshoe. You start here, you go in, and then at the end of the horseshoe is like court. And you fucking go from court back to a holding cell, and then they let me out. So it was pretty fucking.
Did you have to bend over and cough, or did you have to squat and
No, I
cough?
didn't even sleep in there. I was in there
That's
maybe
like
half the
that's
day.
a bad part of jail right there.
Yeah, well, like I said, I didn't get processed into jail. It was all sitting there. I
Yeah.
didn't have a cell or anything. I was in there with a bunch of other people waiting to see the judge or whatever they fucking call it. It wasn't even like jail. It was, but it wasn't. Jail was like upstairs.
Yeah. Did Dan leave? I thought I wanted Dan to come in here, but
Dan was in here, but he I don't know if he came up to the StreamYard or anything.
I don't know. I like honestly haven't really been paying attention. I mean, I've been paying attention to chat, but like not like closely or whatever.
Yeah, I look at it every once in a while, and I'll throw a hey to somebody that's in there. Like I saw Dan and Peggy and Paradox.
But like,
but I'm not reading it.
Oh, there he is. Boom.
Hey.
Okay, I have to go to the bathroom, but you guys could talk. Thank you.
What's up, dude with the green thing?
Dan?
I don't even know who you is.
I can't hear Dan.
Oh, you can't hear me? Am I quiet? Let me check my. Hold up. Let me check my mic.
No, it was me. It was me,
Oh,
dude.
okay.
The StreamYard. I'm weird with StreamYard. I had to press the play button on my phone.
That's weird. Can everybody in the chat hear me?
I hope so. Either way, dude, I saw your chat, and I didn't mean to ignore you, but I was watching that fight. My wife was up. You know, she went to bed.
Were you in there
a bit
yelling?
later. Pardon me?
Were you in there yelling? We were all on the Discord screaming.
No, I was not in the Discord, dude. My Discord froze up like an hour before fucking this live.
Shit, we were in there. You should have seen if it would let you jump into the voice, because the voice wasn't down. Thank you, Hulk.
I just gave up. I went into a bunch of different channels.
I found a good link.
What was it?
It was some random one that a normie put on Twitter. It was perfect. It was high quality. It was. I thought I texted it. No, a couple times because of where I was driving through, but no, it was pretty much spot on.
Yeah, you know what? During that fight, I was I was on with Fishy here, and I had the tablet sitting down there, and I was like glancing at it, and I think he did one of those spinning kicks in
Spinning
the
back
first round.
kicks.
Yeah,
Oh
he
no,
did
third
one in the
round.
first round.
Oh, did
No,
he?
no, he
Okay.
finished him with it, but he did one in the first round, and I was thinking, I'm like, he's gonna
Yeah.
fucking get him with
Yeah.
one of those, and
I
it's gonna
told
hurt.
Hulk he was either going to get something like. I said he was going to get kicked in the head because if you watched, he kept keeping his hands down and he's giving him the leg kicks. I'm like, he keeps his
Yeah,
hands down, he's going to get kicked in the freaking head.
that was brutal, dude.
Yep, and then he threw a false jab and bam, instant folded like a lawn chair. I love Stipe too. Shout out to Stipe. I know he's not listening.
Yeah, I've always liked Stipe. I thought he's a good guy, and he
This is
represented well. He just
John.
wasn't. He's the antithesis of Conor McGregor,
Yeah.
and that's I like that. I like that kind of
Yep.
fighter. I like he's got
He's a
respect and all that.
firefighter.
Oh fuck yeah!
He's a bad mamma jamma. He's a good fighter too. I don't. All these people have thought he was gonna womp on John Jones. Sorry, it was never gonna happen, ever.
Bro, that guy out of Europe, Tom Aspinall. I think
Yeah.
I think he would definitely give John Jones a challenge. I think he could probably, it's MMA. He could beat him. I think he could beat
Somebody
John
has
Jones.
to. Yeah, somebody
Yeah.
has to.
But I think
Like
I don't know if John
I
Jones is
think he
scared.
wants it. I think he wants it.
No, he wants the Pereira fight. That's what Jones wants.
Yeah, he wants a money fight because it's ticket sales. Whoever's a bigger
Yeah.
draw, he gets a bigger
Yeah.
purse at the end of it, and that sucks. Yeah, he's not hungry to just fight the best guys anymore because he's about done.
Yeah, he told him he could have the fucking belt back. He doesn't even care really about the
Yep.
heavyweight belt. He's won it. He's defended it. So fucking whatever.
He handed it to Donald Trump.
That was awesome, dude.
Yep. Yes. People were showing love for Elon and Trump. What'd you think of the Charles Oliveira and Matt? Can't think of his last name. Chandler.
Michael
What'd you
Chandler.
think of that? Michael
Okay,
Chandler.
I watched
Killed.
most of that
That's a
because
good
it
fight.
ended right before this stream, before I got on the stream. So I watched most of that. And I mean, I don't know, dude. Every time I see Michael Chandler fight, I know he can fucking beat up anybody. But at the same time, he doesn't really go all out.
No.
He does, but he doesn't. It's like when you
Yep.
want him to fucking blast the guy, he's not. He's backing up a lot. Granted, he always fights the best guys.
Yep.
So you gotta, there's something there. You can't just start
His
wailing on.
takedown defense was bad tonight.
Well, Oliveira he doesn't have 23 wins in the UFC for nothing. And he
Mhm.
also has the most
Is he
submission
Cowboy?
wins.
Is he Cowboy
No,
Oliveira?
no, that was there's another guy, the Cowboy.
There's Cowboy Cerrone and Cowboy Oliveira, but I didn't know. I couldn't remember if Charles was Cowboy Oliveira. Okay.
No, I forget what that guy's name is, but he's a totally different guy. This dude
Okay.
is the shit. Charles Oliveira is really good, but I've always thought Charles Oliveira has been on some kind of. He's Brazilian, so to claim that he's on some kind of steroid or performance enhancer is not a stretch.
No, I could see it.
He
His
just has a
stamina
gas
was
tank.
ridiculous.
Yes. Yes.
EPO, buddy. EPO.
Whatever it is, dude, these guys they've got the fucking magic sauce or whatever.
Yeah, Mexican dick pills, as John Jones would say.
Well,
Mexican
I don't know about
Cialis.
Mexico and Brazil, but yeah, he's
No. Do you remember the first steroid scandal with John, the Klonopin
Yeah.
or whatever it was? It was
Yeah.
Mexican
gas station
Cialis.
dick pills.
Yeah.
I can't imagine John Jones going into a Chevron and grabbing dick pills,
Oh, he bought him off some dude on the street.
or that's even more ridiculous.
He's a cokehead. You know he's about that life. He probably got it off his
can't-
coke dealer.
Okay, I can't, but I think his coke dealer would probably meet him at his house or something as opposed to on the street.
I don't know. You're talking about a dude who's sitting at downtown Albuquerque shooting his gun off. Like
Yeah, he's
drunk.
nuts. He's nuts.
In a brand new Jeep Trackhawk. Like, no, that wasn't me. And his gun's on the floor of the car. What were you guys getting into tonight?
Delphi. We were talking about Delphi stuff.
Anything good?
Basically defense kind of stuff. Yes and no. She played some of Tom Webster's video that was after the trial, where it was a panel of all pro people, and we
Hendrix
talked
and
about
Teddy and all
yeah,
those
we talked
guys.
about what Mr. Steve said, and I think Marv had a comment in there, and we were just going on about that.
Awesome. It's time for peace. Anyone in here?
What's up, Paradox?
I'm over it. I love all you guys. I don't care.
Paradox.
Yeah, I don't want to fight with anybody about it for sure, but also I love talking about that shit.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yep.
The final thing I said was I can't wait to see what the jury says if they.
Me
I can't
neither.
imagine the people in the jury not looking into this case further after they've been on a jury for this case.
Yep.
So give them a year or so.
Hey,
and come out and say some
Paranuts.
shit.
Yeah, I'm here.
What's up, dude?
Can you fucking hear me or no?
Yes.
I can fuck
Can you hear
and
me?
hear you.
You can do both at the same time. You're used to it.
I just want to shout out to Peggy. It was fun watching the fight with you.
Peggy O gets her dick pills from the street.
Yes, she does.
Same. Where else do you get them? You know.
Blue. Exclusively from Big Fishy's next sponsor, Blue Chew.
Oh yeah. Let me get a Blue Chew sponsor in here.
I said fishy.
No, I shouldn't do that.
God dang it. I mean, do not hate or don't hate, create.
Oh no, it's fine. I don't care. We're so far past that.
In fact, you already doxed yourself in your own chat just a minute ago, so.
Who?
Yeah, I literally don't care. I think I put it on my. Oh, you can't see the display name, but.
Well, I'm glad. I love all you guys, even when we disagree or agree.
No.
Actually, when we agree, I like you less and I respect you less.
Yeah, exactly, Dan.
Because I'm contrarian.
Oh my gosh. I was like, I wanted to murder you last night. And that's like, I really was like so over it. I was like, ah. And then you're like, can I be a negative Nancy? I was like, fuck you, Dan. No, you can't.
As opposed to any other time.
I love arguing with Dan. Smart dude.
I wouldn't go that far.
Well, he's a retarded Jew.
That's right. Oh, you said the R word. I hope you didn't see what was in the chat earlier. That's all I can say.
No, I didn't see
shit. No.
We both agree.
Oh shit! Yeah, dude. No,
I removed it.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Dan.
I removed
was
my
gonna say,
comments.
Somebody started removing it. And
Yeah, where's my wrench?
Wrench? No, you.
I'm the best. I'm the best wrench on YouTube.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am because I only do. I only do what the creator asks. And it makes me behave. Have you ever seen me on Cryptix's channel?
I don't think that makes you any like. What the fuck are you even talking about, Dan?
That's what a good mod does. They don't do what they want to do.
You just made an entry. You just started an entry on this chat. You realize that?
Entry.
Probably a derogatory word for a black person tree on this fucking chat.
I didn't start it. You did.
Who did? I didn't.
Oh my god.
Or all did. I don't know. I didn't start it.
I sure the fuck
finished it.
Jesus. Why isn't Peggy here?
I put the link for whoever wanted it.
I was just talking to her. Chilling.
What the fuck are you doing? Like you're watching.
She's doing her Walla stuff.
I know. What is that?
No, I was watching my wristwatch because I'm fucking autistic and I love my wristwatches.
Do you have to do 500 things at once?
No, I just went to take a pee and washed my. There's no door. I'm at a truck stop.
You pissed on
Oh,
your
you know what
wristwatch?
that's for.
Well, that's how you keep the athlete's foot off your wristwatch.
Okay.
So I've been told.
Yeah, somebody fucked up on that A thing on hit the nines. I mean, it goes back to the South Park episode. Just
Oh.
yeah, I actually I
Oh.
fucked that up. It was my fault.
Stop being a racist. I hope you guys are having a good night.
Yeah.
You missed out on some banging fights, Fishy.
Well, dang it.
They were phenomenal.
No, they
I
weren't.
seen
Phenomenon.
that the internet is roasting Jake Paul after Friday night's
Yeah, because it was
whatever you
BS.
want to call it.
Dude.
Yeah, well, not only that, but
Preordained bullshit fight that he asked the guy and paid the guy to not do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
That
I
fight
didn't
was
know that
garbage.
until afterwards. Charles was saying it was hooked, or it was. Charles was like, it's fixed. I'm like, no, it's not. And then I got sent that thing on Twitter about the rules. I'm like, yeah, it was 100% bullshit. Like, damn. Or not rules, his contract clauses to get paid.
Well, they do shit for money, man.
I
Everybody
did
does.
not click on anything like that. What were the stipulations?
Oh, dude, check this out. He couldn't knock him out in the first round or he got paid less, or the second round, or the third round. I think not knocking him out, he got paid more. It starts at 20 million in everything that he meets, and then one of them was going all 8 rounds was another one. So in order to get the full money that he was promised, he basically had to stand there and let the guy punch him. You know how fucked up that is.
I mean, that's how it's always been, Dan.
I don't know.
It's always been rigged.
Well, not normally like that. Normally it's not out in the open. Like, I don't know. I just thought they were having a. I don't
Well,
know.
see, that's where you went wrong. You
That's
thought.
why I don't. Yeah, that's why I don't watch boxing.
Correct.
It was fun though watching it with you guys.
I just
It was
watched the
mildly
highlights,
entertaining.
and I am glad I'm not one of the stupid suckers that fucking bought a ticket for $1,500.
Hulk said that the rest of the fights were great, especially the women, and I
Yeah,
missed all
the
those.
females were really good, and the featherweights, I think, were really good too.
Yeah, the fight before the women's was actually I don't know if it was welterweight. There's so many divisions, but I think it was 147, or maybe that was the chicks. Either way, that was a good fight.
147 is pretty good pretty big for the gals.
One of the guys was from Arizona. I think the other guy was from Mexico, or maybe
Yeah, the
somewhere
guys
else.
are around 160.
Oh, okay.
But they're like I don't know what fucking class that puts you in. I thought they're featherweights, but
I think
junior
125,
welterweight.
135 is normally like the top out on the divisions for women's.
women's.
Well, it's women's, but it's possessive, not. It's with an apostrophe, not. It sounds weird saying that. Woman for the womans.
Yeah, I just put it in the chat so people could understand what I'm trying to say.
No one cares.
No, they don't. They don't give a fuck. What are you up to, Biggie Fishy?
She's probably realizing how stressful it is hosting a YouTube show.
Oh. Well, that's
She passed
terrible.
out.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Zero.
No, she didn't pass out. She did this last time. She's pulling up comments. Is she pulling up comments?
Not really.
So what have all of you guys gotten into other than that? Now I found out I don't have to pay Disney to watch UFC. I'm gonna be watching them all. I don't know about you guys.
Did you send me that link or no?
I think I put it in the Discord group voice chat.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry, man.
No, it's fine.
I should have. I'll just say the text. I don't know if it'll replay it though. I think it was just live.
I should have. I'll say the text.
Is it like the one I sent you where you can pick whatever sports you want, or was this just someone's
No,
link
this
that
was
they
somebody's
posted?
link to a actual high quality. Like, because I tried the one that we talked about, which we can't talk about on YouTube. We can't
Right.
mention any of these websites or anything like that. Nor do we advocate doing anything of what we're talking about because it's
Right,
bad.
definitely not.
Always pay for your fights. Get your Disney Plus, ESPN,
YouTube
child
Premium.
trafficking advocating company subscriptions and
order your
pay your
stuff off
shekels.
Wayfair.
Yep. Don't go to Temu. You better go to Amazon.
I always go to Temu, man.
No,
Yeah,
Alibaba. That's
The
that's
fights
illegal.
are cheaper there.
You might have had Janice Jones versus Stip Michael. It's the Dollar Tree version. It's just two guys out in the middle of their yard headbutting each other.
Bum fights.
Or as John McCain would say, human cockfighting.
Yeah.
The best advertisement ever for a sport. Yeah, it was good.
So again, I'll ask again. Don't hate crate. What the fuck have you been up to?
Oh, nothing. I was all like not over by my computer at all. Like, and then you asked me, I was like trying to run back in here.
You don't want to know.
She's totally not firing up a doob.
I'm not. I have a headache though.
So Paradox and Zero,
What?
have you guys finished your initiation into the Hell's Angels?
Yes.
No, I haven't yet.
Yeah. So
Do
like
you want me
the
to teach you how to
criminal,
make
the
amphetamines?
criminal underground stuff is kind of working out for me here,
Knock
Dan.
it off.
You're
Knock
rich
it
now,
off.
right?
Yeah, dude.
Don't
I'm
go
banking.
there, guys.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Do it.
Yes. Don't dox yourself. you get fired from your job.
oh yeah, dude. I'm already fired. I don't even have a fucking job.
Have you guys considered the Anglo-Saxon Illuminati for
Nope.
Brian Koberger?
Nope.
I read it on Temu.
The fuck, dude. Oh shit.
Let's get everybody's thing on. What's your impressions on Koberger right now? Innocent, guilty, who cares?
I don't.
Whichever.
I mean, I care a little bit, but I think he is probably guilty. But I could also see like how it could not be him. But I'm pretty sure he's guilty.
Yeah, I'm
about
with
you,
you
Zero?
there.
I think he's probably guilty, but after I've never really followed a case ever, and Delphi's opened my eyes to how the judge and the prosecution and the defense kind of work their magic to get this and get that and evidence in and evidence out and whatever. So it wouldn't surprise me if they fucking can't convict the guy for whatever reason that would be, but I think he's guilty.
The difference
from what
being
I've
he's
seen.
got DNA and pictures of his car and
convicted.
shit.
He was
And his
convicted the very
his
day they
geo
found the
tracking
DNA.
and all that stuff. Phone goes off before he goes and turns back
Oh
on
yeah,
when he's
I've
on his
seen it
way
all.
home. Yeah.
Yeah, they've actually are divulging information that
What if
is
I told you right now, Zero, that there are people on the internet that are saying there's the cult of Odin did it, and they've been saying it.
that they did the
Mm-hmm.
I would probably say that that's fucking ridiculous.
That's
Yeah, there's no
real.
sticks on their body.
Shout out Drip Drop.
We don't know that. We don't know if there's sticks on the bodies or not.
We do know that the medical examiner came out and like told like more than she was supposed to. I think right out the gate, she was like,
"We can't
Yeah,
believe
but
anything the state says."
Yeah, you can't believe anything.
"That's see."
I'm just
you are
no.
just
This is
missing, like,
wait.
the
This is no. This is me just teasing you. Roll with it. And relax.
Yeah.
Relax. I don't even really think that. I'm just picking it. I'm making a joke.
The craziest theories I'm hearing or
It's not
have
for
heard
you.
were
Or directed
about
at
like
you.
the people that were there in the house that saw the guy, but was she awake? And then they didn't call for fucking this much time. It's like, all right,
8
that sounds
hours.
a little.
Well, Zero, look, you gotta keep in mind, and I wish they would get rid of this shit. They were probably doing drugs, right?
Sure.
We should
And
get rid of drugs.
and so what? No, well, what I'm saying is, when you report a crime, you shouldn't be the one getting arrested for reporting that crime. You know what I mean? It should never
Right.
be that way. I fucking hate it so much because
Well, it
there'd
has to
be
be like
so
that.
much more shit that would be solved if people who are fucking doing drugs could actually report what they saw and seen at that point in time.
Oh yeah, I get what you're saying.
That's all I got to say on that.
Yeah, people
Totally.
choose not to talk because they're involved in something or something's going on at the time
Right.
that they don't want to implicate themselves in that has nothing to do with the fucking crime that
Right. Offer people
happened.
immunity when
They were sleeping with their best friend's boyfriend.
Right.
Hey, as far as all this stuff goes, what's the biggest lesson we learned from Delphi? And don't get it wrong, because there's only one right answer.
Don't talk
Four
about Delphi.
words. 4 words. Nope. 4
Plead the
words.
fifth.
Furry
Shut the
butt plug?
fuck up.
Oh yeah, for sure, dude.
Shut the fuck up.
Oh, that is
Cops are
weird.
not your friends.
They never have been, never will be.
What do
And
you think?
Steve-
He's guilty or innocent? If that dude shut the fuck up, guess where he'd be?
He'd be
I
free
will
right
say
now.
this. I will say this, that when I look at whatever pictures they show of Richard Allen, I don't necessarily see fucking the same thing that I see when I look at pictures of Koberger. Like that dude, especially when the
Well,
cops pulled
Koberger
him
has
over in
pretty.
Indiana and he was with his dad in the car.
Mhm.
Like that dude looked like he was dead to rights and he knew it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But they were onto him and they let him go, whatever, however that went. But yeah, he looks like a guilty guy.
Oh, from the 3021. The 4 words are guys don't down the hill.
Yeah, guys down
No.
the hill. Those are the 4 words. That's the best.
Every day is shut the fuck up Friday.
Guys
You get pulled over by the
down the
cops for a speeding ticket, shut the fuck up. Yes, no, and don't incriminate yourself. You're not a lawyer. Just shut the fuck
Yeah,
up.
don't tell them how fast you think you were going.
Nope.
You don't say that.
You just say, I take the fifth. We'll handle it in court. Please either write the ticket or let me give my free to go. Bitch. You have to say I take the fifth, or it
And
doesn't
say, am
count.
I
By
free
the
to
way.
go a bunch of times?
Yep.
Am I free to
And
go?
and
Am I free to
do
go?
not roll your fucking window up and start yelling at the cop through your window. And if they ask you
No.
to get out, you have to get out. Pennsylvania v. Mims, you have to get out. You will get the shit beat out of you, and you'll go to jail if you don't.
No, and even
Sovereign
if you're right,
citizen.
you still have to do what they tell you to do, and then you could sue them afterwards for money.
Oh, I got my white card, so I never have to deal with cops.
Your white card.
Mm-hmm. my white privilege. They give those to Jews too. I'm just teasing.
Who the fuck was his Matt Rife that fucking gave his card away to somebody?
Damn. That's how you get ahead.
Yeah, and so for the people who are not white, when you're born white, you get like a little white card, and it says your name on there, and it says you can't be imprisoned or put in jail.
Well, that's not true.
Oh, it's not.
Mm-mm.
Oh,
It's not what I read on the internet.
yeah.
Well,
Reddit says
you
otherwise.
can definitely go to jail, man. Otherwise.
Fuck. Well, you can fuck up once, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, white is right.
And then after that, they give you the black card. They're like, man.
That's your prison pipeline or whatever you call it. You become institutionalized when you get the black card.
Mm-hmm.
No, but prison reform, we seriously need prison reform, guys.
I agree. I think it should be harsher.
Sentencing should be changed completely. Drugs and non-victim offenses should totally be changed. I also don't think you should get reduced sentencing, and they should fix the sentencing in the first place.
Dude, we just did that here in Colorado, and it passed.
Mm-hmm.
When they say
Don't we
life, they mean life. And now, like, if you're up for like first-degree murder, you can no longer bail yourself out. And then the other thing is,
That seems unconstitutional in and of itself.
well, yeah, it's part of our constitution. It doesn't fucking matter. The third
That
thing
one might
was,
lose to an appeal.
no, it's not. You don't have to bail. You don't have to allow bail on shit. I can promise you that. States have been doing it for fucking years.
No, I mean with the blanket.
Yeah,
I
it's
feel like that might get overturned in the future.
Nah, but I doubt it. What the fuck? See, you confused me again. The third thing is like first time offenders, or excuse me, second time offenders now have to serve like 85% of their sentence instead of 75%. So we're really knocking that shit down, dude.
Well, I think they should make it 100%, and they should
I
lower the
agree.
ones that need to be lowered.
I agree.
Well, I mean, it's
Instead
good
of
to
if you
have good
got
time
15 years, but you
give them
can plead for
incentive.
3.
You
Sorry,
want to have like good time incentives so that people will behave. You don't want to have like
Up to a
you
point.
do because
Nah,
then
fuck it.
people
Nah,
do work
fuck it.
through and stuff. No, fuck it. Yes, fuck it.
Nah, put them in prison. That's what I'm saying. There should be different things, though. Like if you're fucking go out and struggle, snuggle somebody, you don't get reduced sentences for certain crimes.
Right, and you can't rehabilitate those people. I'm sorry, Dan, or Biggie
I
Fish,
know.
you can't. The people who go out and commit the R word against young
I'm
females.
not
Oh,
even
I
saying
wasn't talking
assault.
about
I'm
that.
not
I
even
wasn't saying
saying
that.
assault and robbery, which those like that makes sense. And drug offenses, I don't even think should exist.
I don't
Only the
either.
crimes you commit when you're on the drugs, and maybe the drugs being an aggravating factor if you want. But
Well, of course they should be. I mean, you
I'm
chose
highly
to get fucked up. You chose to drink. You chose to drive,
yep,
let's say, for example. You chose to, let's do, like just say heroin, pump your fucking veins full of shit and go out and beat somebody up.
yep,
That's on you.
yep. But I don't think
Now,
all I was getting at, Fishy, was I think they should lower that punishments down completely,
well, for the
and
drugs, yeah.
then
If
and
it's
then well,
yeah,
on a lot of stuff, and there is no 75%. You're going to serve it. If you want to get incentives while you're in prison, that's your good behavior. You might get a reduced meal or a reduced commissary, what the fuck ever, but not your time. Your time's your fucking time.
Well, for one, like in California or like really busy jails, they have to like matrix people out, which is like basically people with lesser crimes get out because there's just like not enough room for everybody. And for two, like you do want people to like want to do like work crew and like participate in the programs because it's going to make like all the jail people more like calm and stuff. So that's why they do the reduced sentences. And
yeah.
it wouldn't have the same effect if it was just like something on commissary because like a lot of people don't get commissary and shit like that. Plus, you actually want to
But they
rehabilitate
would.
people. Like you want them doing programs and shit. Like and the people that are doing that stuff, like they should get out earlier because they're getting more out of jail. And I
Did you
don't
know
think
when you're
prison
in
should be a
prison, you don't
punishment
have the
as
option
much.
to, you know, that you don't have the, if they want you to work, you got to work. That's like 14th Amendment, the indentured servitude stuff. Like you
Yeah,
become a
well, not
slave when you're
really,
in
dude.
prison.
Not really.
Yes.
It
That's
depends
not
on the state.
that's you're actually like
No, that's
lucky
a
if you get to work when you're in prison because like people want to like work and shit.
no, I know, but I'm saying like if they want you to go and dig that ditch, like you don't have the option. Like you're the same as a slave. That's the only in that 14th Amendment. That's the only thing that's outlined where you can be forced to do labor as employees and prisoners.
But like what if you literally just like lay down? They can't like make you do
Then
it.
you get
Yeah.
beat for not complying.
I think when
You
it
get
comes to
you get
prison,
tased.
I think that segregation is underrated. I think putting people that have
I didn't
nothing
know
to
you were a
lose,
racist.
well,
I don't think
get
you
it?
segregate by
I'm
race.
just teasing.
Or do you?
Yeah, putting people in prison with that have something to lose with people that have nothing to lose is probably not the best solution.
Yes.
I would say segregating it in people that actually have a will to want to get out. They fucked up. They want to change. But then there's people that are murderers and there's no getting out. I don't think it's right. Or I think I would listen to, ideas in regards to segregating them, not just putting them all in one place.
It sucks too because there's some people that fuck up real bad and probably didn't need to go to prison for 10 years. You know what I'm saying?
dude.
Somebody robbed a fucking bank or something, and
Yeah, and when they get in there, they have to, either join a gang or, do something for protection, and that typically might lead to more time. You're going to get in the hole, you're going to get, whatever the case is. I watch a lot of that prison YouTube shit. I seen these guys. All states are different, all prisons are different, but yeah, sometimes you got to play the game in order to literally survive in there, and playing the game will get you more time. And that's kind of
Wisconsin,
fucking,
baby.
yeah, it's kind of fucked up.
Yeah,
But
no, there is people like that can be reformed. My brother's not one of them, and he was quote unquote reformed by a mental health court because we have those here in Colorado. In which he was about to face about 20 years in prison, a hard 20. However, he got out in about 3, and well, maybe 4. And this was around COVID, so like the court system was kind of fucked up. But no, the mental health court said that yeah, he just needs to go back and like be quote unquote reformed. Which means, like the halfway house shit and stuff like that, and like taking piss tests, and then he had to go up to the judge's fucking quarters and get piss tests at the courthouse every week for about a year. But he was out in like, after he was sentenced, he was out in about 2 years. And that would have been in most states about a 20-year sentence, including here. But because he had mental health issues, I don't know, man. He played the fucking system. That's all I gotta say.
Ed Kemper got out and killed his grandparents. Cold blood.
Well, and I've told you some shit I probably shouldn't have. I'm not gonna say it here, Dan, but we'll leave it be at that.
That was a weird time to say that.
Well, no, I mean.
Did you kill somebody? No, I'm just kidding.
No, not at all.
I'm just kidding.
No, I'll just fucking say it then.
No, you don't
I'm
have
afraid.
to.
I'm afraid that my brother's gonna kill my parents. In all honesty. There it is.
Oh,
that's pretty heavy.
Yeah, I mean it is. And he can fucking get unhinged now. He's getting older now, so that's a good thing. He's really fucking fat, which is good. Less stamina. Less
It's harder to
ability
get
do
around when
things.
you're old and fat.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like praying through these next 10 fucking years. I'm just sitting there like, God damn. I sure hope that doesn't happen, and I sure hope my thinking is wrong.
But yeah, I think we probably agree on almost everything in that subject. Because I think you were going to go into reforming, taking some of the punishment away and looking more at rehabilitating.
There's
And
not
that's
a lot of
100%.
rehabilitation that can happen, though.
Well, they've done it in other, like drug addicts and shit.
Well, drugs
The
are
thing is-
different than like.
The thing is,
I
like,
guess-
with rehabilitation, you have to like actually reintegrate people into society, so they don't like, because like, I know myself, like I have felonies, and it's like it's hard on like a lot of different levels, but like one of the hardest things is like your own self, like it's almost like having like being like marked like with a letter, like if you think about like the times you've gotten in trouble, like you could have easily gone to jail, but you just didn't get caught for it. And then just having that like always be a part of like everything people see,
Well,
I have a step uncle who has an assault charge from high school because he got drunk and got in a fight, but he ended up he won the fight and got an assault charge, felony. Never, like, It never goes away.
Yeah, they can't. It depends on the state, but normally you can get those.
You can get them sealed or expunged,
Sealed,
but
thank you.
it's difficult sometimes.
Now, here's my thing about the reformation, or like how to reform prison. When you're talking about drugs and just dealing drugs, that's kind of a complex issue. Actually, all of it is. That's
Yeah,
easier
were
than
you
if
dealing to
you actually
kids? Were you dealing to?
right,
Were you intentionally doing harm to your community? Were you dealing
right.
pot? Were you dealing fentanyl laced heroin?
Yeah, and see,
Blah blah blah.
those are all the questions that people need to fucking answer before they think they have an answer to society's problems.
Well,
One
I
thing,
think in general, like prison isn't working, so like you can think of those questions, but you could also be like even just for prison guards, like it's bad for them, it's bad for their families. Like
oh, I know.
we just release people right out onto the street. It's not like economically sound.
Is
There's so
prison
many
not
reasons
working?
that, like it's just not working. Like
Is
it
prison
should.
not working, or is our society failing our children?
Well, I believe our
I think
society is
well,
failing the
I mean,
children. To be honest with
those
you,
are
Well, I mean,
those
get to the
are
root
different topics.
cause. You
I,
know,
The root
it
cause
can
is
be.
greed.
we
Prison
also
is a
don't have.
racket.
Yeah, and we
I agree.
also don't have a lot of jobs for like the Midwest. I say it's a lot about drugs. A lot of the manufacturing left before I was even around, and
How much do you think it costs to house a prisoner per year?
I know it was 70,000 a year.
that's
I don't
fifty
know what it
thousand
is now.
here.
Like you don't think we could be like making some improvements
Morning,
around
boss.
our like communities and paying them that salary,
Yeah,
and maybe
I
they
think we
wouldn't
could.
have to go
Why
back
would we
into
pay
drugs,
them that salary? They didn't. What are they working? Like, what are they doing?
like building roads or something. I'm not saying
You
like
know
the
what?
full
You know what
salary.
I think they
Well,
should
yeah.
do. And anyone that's serving a life sentence has the option for my favorite kind of Canadian health care. And I won't say what that is on your show.
Kevorkian style.
Oh, KYS. Yeah, no,
Yeah. Yeah, I think they should have the option. And they should have pamphlets handed to them all the time.
I
How
think
much of
that's
that
the kind of prison reform
$50,000?
I meant.
I'm sure there's a lot of them that wish they could do that because they're never going to get out. They're fucking.
morning,
How
Or
much
they're
of the
elderly.
50,000 actually goes to housing the prisoner? Because I would think if they get
Not
that money
nearly.
from the government and it's a racket, they have
it is.
they're basically professional prisons. You know,
Oh, and some
they're
of them are private. That's
private.
an
Yeah,
Most of
atrocious
them.
free. I'm a libertarian guy, but I am not
it's fucked
pro
up.
private prison at all.
Yeah,
Your
well,
incentive
they're
isn't to make people
incentivized.
better; it's to get more people in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole problem. It's been corporatized.
I don't know. I don't think there's any solution that'll fix what's going on. But there has to be something that
Oh, there is, Dan.
There's like
we're not going
literally
to solve
telling
it
you.
tonight.
There's,
But
I mean, there's places that are doing much better than we are. Like it's not
well,
like
you can't go
Where?
off of Europe because Europe's a lot different.
Okay,
They have a
no,
lot better
yeah,
social welfare systems. They don't have to have a giant military and intelligence structure because we do it for them.
right.
They'll
That's
pay.
what I was
Look
about
at
to
some of
say.
our friends in Australia. They can have a pension because of this, and live comfortably off their disability checks. Like you're not. We don't have. We have way too many people and not enough resources to do that.
Dan.
Unless you want to pay 80%
It's the
tax.
complex. It's just big business that's established, and so like they want you to think that. But there's definitely just like with big pharma.
What are you talking?
There's
What does
much more
big
cost
business have to do with taxes?
I'm talking about like what we could do about the prison system. I'm not talking about
Yeah, but what
taxes.
does that have to do with other than the private prisons, which shouldn't exist?
Like private, or I'm talking about private prisons or whatever is a big business. Like they
Yeah, you can throw that shit away. I'll concede that. That shouldn't exist. That's the government's responsibility to take care of the prison
well, now
and
that
the
we have
prisoners.
Dan's permission, guys, we could
Permission to
we could
what?
change the world. I'm just kidding. Sorry.
Dude, I don't know anybody who thinks private prisons are good.
I'm not
There's
opposed to
people
them.
making money off of them.
I'm actually
Yeah.
not opposed to private prisons, and this is why. Anytime you get our government involved in anything, They fuck it up. They just do, and it costs like 10 times what it would if a private industry did it.
Well, that's because our government is corporatized almost. You
But
know,
they're
they're
taking
always-
they're taking the same amount of money that state-ran prisons are, and then exploiting the prisoners for financial gain on top
I
of that.
understand that. I understand that's what they're doing.
Government's bad, but government civilian partnerships are far worse.
Right.
Like
I agree.
Oof.
And here's the thing.
Shout
like,
out to
government-
Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Well, no,
At least Elon's actually productive
kidding.
in something.
I know, I'm
though.
joking.
So they,
No,
Like
that's
he said the other
Start
night,
using. He should start using prison labor. That Werner von Braun shit.
oh my god.
Sure.
Shout out to anyone who gets that reference.
I don't.
He was a very. Never mind. He was
And
involved in
anyways,
the German scheme to eradicate some people. And he's
I
he's
have
also
stocks in private prisons, so I want those to remain.
I
mean,
hope
that's
you don't.
smart.
No, I don't.
Kelly says
When Doug
in
Carter became a
1871, when
sovereign.
DC became a sovereign state, all on its own. Talking about how it's the District of Columbia.
No, Doug Carter. She's talking about Doug Carter, Dan.
No one's talking about Doug Carter.
Doug Carter, 1871.
Do you want to know what I know? You need to read The Shack, bro. And that had
One
nothing to
day
do with
you
the
will.
trial.
I did read The Shack, and I was like terribly disappointed with that book. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good.
Did it give you blue balls?
What?
What the fuck? Why would you say that, dude?
I don't know.
Isn't
Maybe
Kelly
you were
Australian?
expecting a finish or something by
Kelly,
reading
are
the
you
book.
Australian?
Who?
Jesus Christ.
Kelly. I'm pretty sure Kelly's an Aussie. You come on this late, you
Probably.
get the Aussies in the house, fishy.
Oh, well, we should
Shout
get
out.
off then. I'm just kidding.
I'm not
Aussies-
finished. I'm just breathing heavy.
God damn,
Happy
right?
happy 5:30 in the morning to all you out there in Aussie land. Or 5:30 in the afternoon. I'm sorry. I said the morning.
Yeah, thank you for spelling it correctly, Kelly. We don't know how to like.
Look
spell it
at that
correctly, so we
autistic memory.
just OZZY. That's how we spell Aussie.
That's definitely not. She's Ozzy Osbourne. Cheryl. That guy die yet?
I don't think so. Which is crazy. Like,
No, I thought he was on his deathbed like a couple months ago.
the drugs are doing him well.
Oh,
That
right,
dude's been like rough
man.
on his body. Like, I don't know how he's still alive.
Yep. It's so funny to hear that guy talk and then listen to him just sing perfectly clear and perfectly Aussie. Guy can't form a coherent thought when he speaks. And then he's out there going on a real sonic crazy train.
He's practiced it. He's practiced.
Oh, I know. Different part of the brain.
Yeah.
I have a headache, so you guys could stay on here, or I don't know if I have to end it or whatever.
You have
but
to end it.
Yeah, you do.
We have a Discord if we want to talk, except for Paradox because he's totally non-hetero for all you men out there.
No, dude,
If you want that pussy, you hit up Paradox. His email is
get that pussy. That
My
get that
last
pussy
name.
at gmail.com. Yep.
Like with a
That's
B.
Hey,
Yep.
Biggie, when are
That's
you
a
gonna
bum
fucking
hole.
start playing chess with me again?
Dude, you just have to like. Are you on that app still?
Yeah.
What's happening? Did you ever request me?
Well,
to
now you
play with
doxed yourself on there.
you? On where?
Request you to play with him.
All right, damn.
Oh,
No.
shit. Bossy, the dough. The don't chill on the floor again, Cheryl.
You're funny.
I love
But
Ozzy.
I really do have a headache, so
No, take
Bye.
care, and I'll jet off if you're all right.
All right. Good night,
hey,
Fishy.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks for having me on.
I want to play chess with you though. So go. I mean, whenever you want.
Okay.
You text Dan. Dan will text me.
How do I? How do I play chess without you?
Thank you, Zero, for coming on here, and Dan.
Thanks for having me. Good night.
And Charles.
Yeah, thanks,
Not
Charles.
me, though.
Charles, get a microphone.
Later.
Bye. You gotta hit the end. Oh, she left and it's still live, guys. Open stream. Let's go, Zero. Start
All right,
saying all
let's
the
go.
vulgar swear words.
Let's go. Let's
Somebody in the
fucking go.
Discord, please let her know that she left her stream up.
I don't even know if my Discord's working anymore.
It's back. No, it's back.
All right, here goes.
Yeah. Thanks, Fishy. You can't just leave. You have to hit end first, Fishy. Welcome to Boomerang StreamYard. I've done it. I ended a stream as soon as I started it once. I can't say anything.
All right, I told her YouTube's still open.
Yeah, she's got to open that crap back up. Oh, yes. It's starting to tree. I got to water it.
I'll hit you up in the Discord if she cancels it right away.
Oh, it'll tell us on the screen right here. It'll say, I mean, I can sit here and talk crap until she actually ends the stream. Otherwise, it's going to go all night.
How late are you driving?
Till like 8 in the morning.
All right.
I'm not going to be on here until 8 in the morning.
I hear that.
Okay.
There you are. You have to hit end, my dear. You have to hit end, my love.
Okay.
Then leave.
Good
Good
night.
night.